Last time we had like 41,000 people in the room, and there were like 160 some odd new followers. So I want you to know I appreciate, all of you and all of your commitment, your participation, helping with, the growth within this platform, and also helping to get this message out as you all are posting or reposting and sharing the live, and all of the likes, all of the daily heart me, and um, the likes, daily heart me, and all the comments too, even the trolls, right? Got to thank the trolls, because y'all could be anywhere and doing anything, but you find it necessary, to be in this room and participating, with this live. So I just want to take the time to thank all of you, for the growth. So today we're dealing with decolonization, world conflict, decolonization, because globally, right, we're watching other nations under the threat of being colonized. And we really need to talk about it. And also we need to look at like what we can do, because a number of you, I've heard you say things like a bully. This is how, thank you. This is how we talk about the U.S. and number 47. We say a bully. Well, I do remember the best way you had to deal, with that bully is a couple of you, had to, get at him, directly, or, a nice jab in the eye, in the mouth, a gut punch. And the bully seemed to make whatever adjustment, he need to make. So when we talk about colonization and how it's happening globally, and how people are being oppressed, they've done a very good job keeping a majority of people distracted, so that within the distraction you really can't focus on how to organize to remedy your situation, right? And when I look at organizing, at this point in time, and even as we're talking about a world conflict and we're talking about decolonization, I realize like this, is a global thing. So not only should we be focused on what it means within our network to be organized, here, we're trying to, broaden the scope. We want to network, with other nationalities, other nations, other people, that collectively we can deal with the colonizer. That is something well, I don't think, somebody else may be able to tell me about, a platform or somebody that's, doing it already. But I think that's what we really need to consider collectively: networking, having conversations and functions, that are strategically centered around dealing with, the colonizer. Yeah. So thank you all for coming, into the live. Do tap the screen. It does not cost you anything. That daily heart me is definitely up there. Let's get on it, y'all. Share the live, repost the live. And today, we're going to bring stage participation. You guys can, come up. Normally, I'm giving a lot of information centered around this, but today we're going to get some of your thoughts about colonizer number one and colonizer number two, Batman and Robin, Uncle Sam and Is Not Real, right? So I think what I'm going to do, I'm going to start out with a definition centered around colonization. And we've explained this, definition before. Yes, we have, right? But I just want to just kind of set the tone so we realize the criminal element centered around colonization, because I think for real we overlook it, right? Or we take it for granted. We feel like it's antiquated. That's something that happened in the 1700s and 1800s, and we don't realize, how modernized colonization is today, and which people and or countries are being impacted by it, and more specifically, what we can do about it. Because we have an issue with oppression and the concept of, the colonizer or being colonized right here in America, still, after 1865, still, right? So let's go. Let's get off into the definition. And like I said, guys, tap the screen. It don't cost you anything. We got a lot of people, in the room already. I appreciate you. Let's see, we just getting started. We 5-6 minutes into this thing, and we got a gang of people in the room. So tap the screen. It don't cost you anything, right? Share the live, repost the live, and we're gonna do this. We're gonna be interactive, right here as we focus on decolonization, what it means, as we look at the world conflict. And the world conflict, it is centered around colonization. And like I said, you may not have picked up on it, like that, but it's an extension to colonization. So let's look at this definition. Colonization is the process where a foreign power invades, settles, and establishes control over a territory and its indigenous people. So we can recognize where these things happened, are happening, right? Often exploiting its resources. We know who's known for that: economy and culture. Right? It involves imposing a dominant power's language, culture, political system, frequently through violence and displacement. So this is like what we're, really familiar with, as it pertains to world interaction and, kind of dealing, with these people here. Mo John just a troll. I'm gonna put you down, Mo John, because you got games. You got jokes. See, this is what we got to deal with, like I said. But thankfully, even for the trolls, but they come up to do stupid stuff like this, and the world is in conflict, right? This is why I say, tap the screen. It don't cost you anything. Let's share the live, repost the live, so we can get people in the house that really want to see things resolved, that want solutions to long-standing issues, you all. Because the colonizers are not going to provide us with any remedy. They're not going to give us peace, okay? We're not going to have equality. We're not going to see freedom and all these things that, are thought to be a part of a great society or free world. These things are heavily regulated by the colonizer. And the people, it's up to the people to figure out how to cross lines, how to grab hands, what words, what suggestions, what express will, what it is that we're going to stand on to deal with the colonizer, the oppression, the violence, the domination. Let's finish reading it. Right? Let's look at some of the key aspects. Political and economic domination. Controlling a region to exploit its resources for the benefit of the colonizer's power. And, you know, like with these trolls and these people that come up, man, they support the colonizer. They benefit, you know, from the oppression and or the cruelty that happens to other people. And they don't give a damn. They don't want it to stop. They say this is the best thing ever. They love corruption. They love the colonizer. They support the wickedness. They support the corruption. All right. So, yep, you know, the stage is open. We're building it up so we can get you guys, you know, ready to interact and communicate, because I got some other notes that we're going to talk about, you know, as well. I want to thank you all for coming, you know, into the live. And let's deal with this world conflict. Colonizer number one and colonizer number two. And what does decolonization look like for us as a people? Hey, for the world. Because the colonizer, and you know, it's like you're not used to using that terminology, but isn't that what they are? And you guys are welcome to come up to the stage and defend it, right? You don't have to worry, you know, about being insulted or, you know, kicked off the stage or, you know, if you've been on my platform before, you know, we deal with these things rather cordially. You know, all thoughts, all opinions, we allow, you know, for them all to be heard and expressed so we can have a healthy conversation and provide, you know, very instrumental rebuttals. All right, so the impact. So colonization has led to significant loss of life, you all. So what do we see, you know, transpiring, you know, right now, like with the Palestinians? Significant loss of life, right? And there are other events that have transpired throughout the world. So it's a colonization led to significant loss of life, slavery, displacement, and long-term intergenerational trauma for indigenous communities. Now, I can relate to the intergenerational trauma. And see, this conversation is not popular for a number of people because now you're asking for accountability while you're trying to say someone is so great and what they're doing is so good. And yeah, we had to go in and rescue and save. What kind of, let me reserve from calling anybody or insulting anybody, but what mind would think a colonizer is going in to save anybody? I mean, they might tell you that, like they might put that out as propaganda. But the underlying factor, they don't deal with it, you know, like that. Right? Okay. Somebody say, oh, which one looked like a game show host? Which one looked like the game show host? We talking about Colonizer 1 or Colonizer 2? Okay. Okay. All right. So Um, right? While often referring to historical European expansion between the 16th and 20th centuries, the term applies to any act establishing control over another people and land. And this is why I'm trying to bring it up. Like this is still relevant to this day while we're allowing and or letting people play games, trying to say we got the military, to save Cuba and save Venezuela and Lebanon and Syria. And y'all, this is the colonizer moving in to take control over land, over people. That's just what it is, raw, on its face. That's just, what it is. Okay. So we have to look at the fact that America's interest is the interest of the colonizer. If you can show me how or where, that's not true, I would be open to understanding what you're saying. But the interest of America is the interest, of the colonizer. So let's see. Mario is first up, on the stage. And I wanted to say this, although the interest of the colonizer or the interest of America is the interest of the colonizer. I wanted to, say that we as people all over the world, globally, we should have a common interest. Since their interest is what it is, we should have a common interest, and that is to get rid of the colonizer. That should be our interest. That should be what we put our energy and or effort into. Okay, so before I go to my next point, Mario, welcome to the stage. If you're talking Mario, I cannot hear you. All right, Mario, I'm gonna put you down because you just came up on the stage and either you don't know you're here or, you know. All right, later, Mario. All right, so that's what we're looking at is the interest based on the colonizer or America. Their interest is to colonize the world, and as the people, we should have a collective interest, and that is to get rid of, the colonizer. Okay, so um, let's see, we got quite a few people um, right here. Let's see, Golden Calf. All right, Golden Calf is there. All right, welcome, Golden Calf.
What's up, my bro?
How are you?
I'm good. And you know what? I love your channel, bro. I do.
Okay, thank you.
Um, just let me say this real quick. Our country has been compromised. Um, I love what you're doing. And a lot of people don't see what you're doing, but I see what you're doing. It's a country over there in the Middle East that's no bigger than New Jersey. And we are being ran by that. Um, I think it's incomprehensible that we would allow this, but that's what they want to do, bro. Um, I'm just telling you that I hear what you're saying, and you got a very great argument. Um, these people they don't understand that our country has been compromised. You got 50 some percent of politicians that's dual citizens. Now I'm not gonna go into all of that, you know what I'm saying? But what I'm saying is I know your argument, bro, and you got a great argument, bro. You do. You really do. And I stick with that. I'm gonna follow you to the end of the earth. That's what I'm gonna do. And I don't know if anybody else gonna do it, but y'all better understand what he's saying. He's saying that we have been compromised. And you know what? I just came up here to tell you I stick with you as a black man who really understands what's really going on. They don't understand that, bro. They don't. I'm being honest right now. I'm 54. Um, I don't live this life, and I know right now that our politicians they don't have our best interests at all. They just want to make the money. And so we could talk about this all day long. We could say this, that, and the third, but they just want to make the money. Why the American citizens of America that work every day is not getting the money? And I'll land with that. I'll land with that.
I appreciate you, the golden calf. Um, guys, I'm gonna open up a little bit. I think I'm gonna bring Doug up next, and I got a couple of more points I want to bring out, but I want to hear from you all a little bit first. Doug, how you doing, Doug? All right, we'll come back to Doug. Let's see.
I have a
Let's.
comment, sir, if it's okay.
I'm sorry.
I have a comment, if it's okay, if it's my, give me the right to talk.
Oh, okay, yeah, because I'm trying to figure it out, so it's fine. Go ahead. What's your comment?
My comment is very simple. I understand that you have a Democrat panel here, right? I mean, it's 90% of your people around you in the 200 people here are Democrats, right?
I don't know what you're talking about. I don't even know how you drew to that conclusion.
Can I say as a Jew, God bless America, God bless Donald Trump? Thank you for the $570 billion helping Israel, supporting Israel in a very sensitive time. I hope you can hear me and you will understand that the radicals as Boko Haram, Al-Shabaab, the Iranians, Hezbollah, the Jihad, that want to pose the Sharia law in the United States of America, they want to change the religion of the Christians to the Muslims, to the Islam. You see the guy who was on the top, Abu Siraj, he left the panel because he cannot hear me. I know him, he know me very, very well. I'm a former first sergeant in the Israeli army, and I fight with my American ally, with my brothers. We are protecting America. A Jew will never hurt the United States, but a Muslim, they try to unalive Donald Trump 3 times. Khamenei, Khamenei, all those people try to unalive your president of the United States of America. So I'm trying to figure out, try to understand how can you support the enemies of the United States of America? Or you're saying that, oh, this is the Israeli fight, this is not American, this is not America deal, it's not America war. You're wrong. Because if you understand, I'm finishing, if you understand Arabic, because I speak also Arabic as a Jew, and they call to the Al-Maut al-Amerik, Al-Maut al-Israel. They said to unalive the Americans. They unalived 250 Marines, American brothers in Beirut. Check it out in GPT. How many Americans they unalive the Iranians in the Hezbollah? Worldwide. How many? How many? Do you ever saw any Jew will hurt United States? We call it in Arabic tiqa. باللغة العربية. It means that the United States have. Sorry, sir?
Come on and land your plane now. Come on. I'm letting you get it out, but land your plane.
Okay. So I can finish, sir?
Please. I need you to hurry up, though.
Thank you. I'm here. You're right. Thank you so much for the time you give to me. I really appreciate.
But
Finally, sir,
go
as
ahead.
a Jew who respect United States, who love America, we will never ever hurt America. If you're Democrat or Republican, whatever you are, every morning I get up and I say, God bless America. We are not looking for your money. The Jewish people contribute to the United States more than anybody in the world. Scientists, best doctors, best economy. The Jewish people don't come into America and take the money outside the United States. They invest the money in America. Check it out, Dr. Edelson, Miriam Edelson, a multi-billionaire.
Okay. All right, guys, that is Zafran. And Zafran, I heard you, and I'm sure some people are going to want to rebuttal some of the things you said. But I want to say this because you asked the question like, how could I support? And I want to tell you what I am supporting and what I don't support. And let me say it this way. I'll never be able to side with my oppressor. Now, to you, it may be seen and or understood as something different, but these are colonizers. And based on the definition, that's what they do. And people are hurt, whenever you're under their rulership. So I'll never side, with the oppressor. And it's my aim to bring awareness and to create venues to where we can deal with the corruption. So I'm gonna open the stage real quick and allow people to respectfully rebuttal what it is that you're saying. So who wants to go first? I know,
I
and you,
do. I do.
I definitely,
So in
and guys, be
1968, Israel hit us. They hit one of our boats. They unalived 70 people. They said it was a mistake. They apologized.
What?
They did all of that, but you still did it.
hold on. Hey, hold on one second, Golden Calf. Golden Calf, hold on for me. Hey, Zaffaran, let me explain something to you. Nobody interrupted you when you spoke. Nobody came off their mic. So this is how we run this panel right here. And if you can't do these things, then just go ahead and leave, right? But we want everybody to be heard and we want to give people a chance to respond. Don't come off your mic when somebody else is expressing something and it rubs you a particular way. Wait until we open the floor, then you can rebuttal. Okay? Nobody come off your mic when somebody else is talking. We're going to let people finish their thought. We're not going to disrespect, the guest that's on the stage, good, bad, or indifferent. We will allow for people to say what they say, then we're going to rebuttal it. Okay. My apologies, the Golden Calf. Finish your statement and please, nobody else come
All I'm
off.
saying, host, is this. All I'm saying is this. I think you have a great argument. And what I'm gonna say is, in 1968, they hit us. Uh, is this a partner of ours? Like, if I got a partner and he hit me, do I think that that's a partner? No. Um, we gonna do Israel regardless because they have a lot. Um, they have a lot on us. Because you know what? These politicians, they've been doing stuff that they shouldn't have been doing. Um, Epstein was a person who recorded all of this stuff. So this is why we in this world right now. Um, I'm just gonna say this. At the end of the day, your president, everybody, they complicit in what's really going on. And I'm not gonna say too much because I just don't want to get targeted or nothing like that. But they complicit, and This is the reason why we right here today. And this host is saying um, he don't like the way it's going. Listen, if you come up here and you try to defend this kind of stuff, I have to be argumentative with you, and I have to be standing by his side. Um, and I will stand by his side because I know this is a good brother. But y'all is saying right now we gonna just defend everything everybody's saying and not really look at what's going on for real. These is little girls. These is babies. These is everything. Our children mean everything to us. And if you come up here with an argument like that, that just let me know that you don't mean you don't even care about the children, bro. Um,
All right, hold on, Golden Calf. All right, thank you for your comments. Because the stage is full, you guys, and we're still gonna try to bring out some more points. Next, I'm gonna go to Fit or Die, and I just want you guys to try to keep your comments down to a minute and a half, and/or 2 minutes, even within your rebuttal, so we can try to kind of get to everybody that is on the stage, and keep this thing going. Thank you, Golden Calf, for for your support and for your comment. But Fit or Die, go ahead.
Hi, how are you? So the first thing I want to talk about is the concept of like colonialism because you like to mention it so much. And when you look at colonialism and you look at countries that colonize other countries, one of the things they did to that country is they gave them the language. Considering of how many countries in the world speak Spanish, speak English, speak French, speak Portuguese, or speak Hebrew, you will realize that there's only one country that speak only one language, uses Hebrew, because the rest of the countries are colonializers. If you want to decolonialize, why don't you start with Australia? Get all the people out and give the land back to the Aborigines. Give it to the Aztecas. Give it to the Mayas. Give it to even the United States. All the white people and the black people should get out. Give the land back to the Native Americans. Why do you have to start decolonializing Israel? Because Israel is even a questionable, because if you look at colonializers, they have no connection to the land. Nobody can say the Jews don't have connection to the land. Every time they dig a hole for a new construction, they find coins with the written of Hebrew on it, or like the word Israel, or whatever that is. And just the guy, the golden calves over there, I want to say something about the issue that he was talking about, the ship in 1968. He had to go all the way back to 1968 to find like a very tragic mistake that happened. And it's very responsible because in this moment, in this exact moment, we have American pilots and Israeli pilots hand to hand putting their life in danger for the freedom of the rest of the world. And you have to give that respect and not go back to 1967 and find something that happened at the time and use it as a weapon to go against Israel. Another thing you said about colonialism, you said that you have to come from another country in order to conquer other countries. Jews came from like 17 different countries. They didn't come from one country. And then you talk about like resources. The state of Israel or that land over there never had any resources. Everything that was there were created by the Jews. All you have to do is look at the countries around it, like Lebanon or Syria or Jordan. Those are all failed countries. Israel is the only successful country. And now we talk about like how important is Israel to the United States. All you need to do is do a Google search of a company called Wiz or a company called ARC. These are companies that are sold for billions of dollars to companies in the United States. Israel is number one in medicine, is number one in computers, is number one in everything, every industry they're number one. And they have 57 Nobel Prizes, which is more than any other group of people in the world. The contribution is
Okay. All right, Fiddle Die. Remember, we're trying to keep it to a minute and a half or 2 minutes, and just hold your thought. Normally, I would kind of run down the line, but I think with the way it's going, we just want to ask: do anybody want to rebuttal? Fiddle Die.
I
I
will
want to
rebuttal
rebuttal
him
about
at any
the
time.
USS.
Host. Why?
Hold on, Golden Calf. Hold on. Let me get somebody else who hasn't spoke. Go
Uh,
ahead. Copper Harris.
I'd like to talk about the USS Liberty. So the USS Liberty is a bad example as to why Israel is not an ally for the United States. I mean, we can look at other examples that are infinitely more direct and were not deemed by the U.S. investigation as mishaps. Right, the USS Liberty was deemed a mishap by the United States government after they investigated it. We can look at another example, Pearl Harbor. The Japanese played us essentially, indicating that we were moving towards peace, but in reality, they bombed the shit out of Pearl Harbor. We went to war with them. We occupied them because they were our enemy. We wouldn't allow them to have a military. And today, you can't, drive down the road without seeing a Toyota Camry, right? I mean, they do massive trade in our country, and we would consider them an ally, regardless of the fact that we still occupy them, right? So the USS Liberty, which was deemed a mishap, I mean, is hardly an excuse for someone trying to say that we shouldn't be allies with Israel. Israel has been beneficial to us in a myriad ways, financially, through various industries, technology, pharmaceutical, I mean, so many things, intelligence. When people say, oh, Israel spies on us, well, we spy on everyone. We spy on our allies. We spy on people we don't like. I mean, Israel does the exact same stuff we do. So I don't really understand why the USS Liberty is such a big talking point when it lands nowhere.
Now, I do want to address something also that Fit or Die expressed when he's talking about this people. Is this people is not real. There's a real argument whether these people are who they say they are. I believe there was a report from a Egyptian president who expressed his concern. The president of Syria expressed his concern. You got quite a few people that are expressing concerns based on if this is a legitimate claim, or not. But we want to open the floor back up to see if anybody wants to rebuttal and or speak to what has been expressed so far. Looking for somebody that
Yes.
has not had a chance to
Yeah,
speak yet.
I would like to
Hi.
go.
Okay.
Okay, hold on. Let's let who was that? Lena. Let's
Yes.
let Lena go, and then I believe that was you, Minkins.
Yes. Yeah, of course. After Lena.
Okay, Lena, go ahead, Lena, and then Minkins.
Okay, thanks so much, host. Thanks for having me. Yeah, so I just wanted to address, I think it was Zafran that was talking, but he essentially said that Israel hasn't attacked us. That's actually a lie. They've actually unalived one of our citizens. Her name is Rachel Corey. They actually bulldozed her. She was a peace activist who worked for an international organization and was in the West Bank and was trying to help prevent a home from being bulldozed over by the colonial entity. There's a number of American citizens that Israel has unalived. There's one by the name of Aishnur Agi, Jacob Flickinger, and these people have never gotten any sort of I guess repercussions for any of these. And Rachel Corey's parents actually still go on interviews to this very day, trying to look to see if they can somehow find justice for her child or for their child. I wanted to also talk about this Adelson character, the one who's donated $95 to $100 million to the pro-Trump super PAC in 2024. So Adelson was born in Israel, and I just want to give a little bit of background about how she treated one of the spies. That
Not Allison, madam. Sorry, Adelson.
Listen, Zephron. Like I said, if you can't maintain, yourself, we're gonna have to move you off the stage. Nobody interrupted you. Please do not interrupt people when they're speaking. When we call for rebuttals, you'll have a chance to do it. Please don't do that again. Go ahead, Leah.
Thank you so much. Yeah, so I just wanted to address something that happened with Jonathan Pollard when he was convicted of spying on the American government and passed secrets to Israel. He'd been doing that for a number of years. He actually got a welcome party in Israel on a private jet. He ended up landing on the tarmac there, and Adelson was there and called him a hero for what he had done. In that same time frame, Pollard got on the mic there on the tarmac and encouraged other Jewish Americans to do exactly what he did. So that's the connection that has really changed my mind about who Israel is and Trump's connection and why we're in this mess in the first place. Thanks for listening.
Okay. All
Host,
right,
can I have a comment? Host, Mr. Host.
it's Menken's turn, and then Zephron. Hold on, Zephron, because you did speak. Just be a little bit patient, and
Okay.
let me kind of get to some of the other panel, and then we'll come back to you. Just be a little patient.
Okay.
Menkins,
Thank you.
go ahead.
Hey, how are you? So, it's funny to me that people looking for one incident 60 years ago, which is, by the way, we don't even have the whole videos of the ship and from the Israeli Navy because they don't want to show what really happened. Because once they will reveal all the video, it will show that actually it was the United States' responsibility and mistake. The issue is that if Israel wanted to totally eliminate them, it was so easy, and then you did not have anybody to say anything. It was much easier to eliminate everybody if it was intentional. Look, the issue is that, okay, if you go back to 1800, 1777, there was something that started to happen when United States was really, really young. It was the barbaric war. I don't know if you know about that. It was 2 wars. These wars initiated by the Muslims caliphate taking ships, hundreds of ships. We're talking about thousands would getting unalive and getting in captures because the people that lived in around the place of Libya, Algeria, Morocco was capturing European and also United States ships and taking jizya because they were claiming that by the Quran they can take all these money from all these captured ships, also from the United States. The reason that Jefferson initiated these wars against them because there was no talking with them. First, they were giving them money for like 23 years, and then they were just claiming more and more and more money, and there is nobody to stop them. That's why the United States have the biggest navy in the world, because you don't have the memory of what happened, why the United States have the biggest navy in the world, and why you are so strong because of the Muslims. Because for 25 years and then 15 years of war, they were initiate wars against you, capturing your people, unaliving them, destroying hundreds of ships, and thousands of people get unalived. This is the fact. You need to learn history. The Muslims are not your friends. They are invading you right now. They are all around your system, your social system, in your military. They are in everything that you want. All of the NGO that was a trick that started in the 60s. So, bro, you're being occupied at this moment, and they are supporting the Jews, the Israel, No. It's gone. Your system is corrupt to the core, bro. Have memory. That's what I'm saying. Learn history.
Okay. All right, Menkins. All right, we're gonna thank you. Thank you for your comments. And guys, remember again, we got a lot of people on the stage and a lot of people that want to get involved. Hold on, Zafran. Hold on. Be patient, please. Keep your comments down to that minute and a half and/or 2 minutes. Let's see who else we got on the stage that have not spoke just yet.
I can speak.
Okay, yes, that was coming to you. Go ahead.
Yeah. So, I want to thank Minkins for showing everyone what the Mossad Hasbara talking points are. When they come up here and spout this anti-Islam, oh, they're getting in your military, oh, they're in your government, right. The same rhetoric that they spun in the United States for the last 25 years, right? Look, I know you're Israeli, Minkins, but the American public is very aware of these tactics. And so when you just recite that stuff, it exposes you. And I think you should update your Hasbara talking point. With that said, I just want to say that, I notice a lineage of these people that are very pro-Israel. talking as if, they're the only indigenous people from that land. And it's crazy because there's genetic studies, really important ones. I could provide anyone with them. That proves otherwise. It proves that the people of that land are the Palestinian people genetically. And so when, the Zionists paint this picture like, oh, it's our homeland and all of these things, it's really kind of just the way that when white people came to North America and they said their manifest destiny and they saw it as some like spiritual undertaking by some sort of like twisted, demented version of their own scripture, right? And so I do just think that, as we as Americans start to understand what's going on, I think that we will see changes in this country, but we have to organize about this.
Absolutely.
Can
Yeah.
I answer that?
Absolutely. We have to organize. Hold on, Minkins. Hold on. Let's hear from King Louis. After King Louis, I got two other people that just came up. Keelam and Z came up. So, but before I get to you, Keelam and Z, I'm gonna kind of let Zephron speak, and then we're gonna come back to you guys. King Louis, go ahead. King Louis, yep, King Louis. King Louis going once. King Louis going twice. All right, King Louis must be having an issue with his microphone. I do want to say this, guys. Tap the screen. It doesn't cost you anything,
Oh, you
right?
can hear me now? Can you hear me now?
I can hear you now. Go ahead, King
Okay.
Louis.
Okay. All right. All right. Now, I was under the impression of back in Iran, what they're going through, right? And today I was in the house. I do cable. I work for Xfinity, so I got to talking to the customer, and I asked her where she was from, and she said Iran. So I said, oh man, I said, man, it's a shame what's going on with Israel. I'm back. I'm rooting for y'all. It's a shame. And she said no. So I'm like, huh? She said no. She said the regime there is terrible in Iran. She said it was protesters. It was 50,000 protesters. She said they shot them down with guns and just laid the bodies in the body bag. And she showed me all this stuff, right? And she showed me a video of a woman getting butchered by the police because she out there protesting with a machine.
Hey, King Louis, do me a favor, man. We're on TikTok. And we have to exercise, just a little bit of etiquette, when we're on TikTok and we're trying to explain certain things. I do want you to get your point out, but I don't want you to get flagged or to cause the live to be flagged. Okay. So go ahead, finish your thought and just try to be a little more clever with how you illustrate what you want to talk about when you get into those graphic details like that. All right, King Louis, take yourself off mute and finish your thought.
That's all I really wanted to say. So that was just, the basis of it. And it kind of changed my mind, the viewpoint of what's going on. It's things we really don't know about. It's things that they're only showing us somewhat of what they want us to know and put out what they want us to know. But this was from a person who's living it. And it changed my mind. Because I would want somebody to help me if I was in that situation. So it changed my mind about it. But it's more than that too. But this is an actual person that's living over there and told me what was going on. She was so frightened. I was video recording her phone with some of the videos, and something flashed down on her phone where she worked, and she begged me to take it off, and I deleted the video. But yeah, all right, you guys have a good one.
Okay.
All right.
Appreciate you, King Louis. And I'll never forget the movie Wag the Dog. I'll
I
never
got you.
forget that for those of us that, are familiar with what's going on. That doesn't take away from what colonization is and what the colonizers have done and how we're dealing with world conflict. And right now we need to focus on decolonization. As who was that was talking? That was who was that? think I can't remember what her name was, but she said we need to, have better network and or organization, and that's what I'm speaking about, as well. But Zephron, where is he?
I'm here, sir.
Oh, okay, so yeah, you wanted to
Yes.
rebuttal some things. Go
Yeah,
ahead.
because they are just Lena. She talked to me, and the other woman, she also addressed it to me. So I would like to put 3-4 points very fast. First of all, sir.
Just remember, 2 minutes, man. 2
Okay,
minutes.
Mr. Host. Okay, for Mr. Host, I don't know if you're going to stay with us because I see you disappear from the screen. On the screen, I'm a diplomat. Okay, sir. This is in the picture. This is me and the president of the Republic of African Central, my friend, Mr. Touadera. I'm now in a Muslim country. Okay, I'm a Jew. Right. If you look at Lena screen just now, so she have 2 points. This is Yahya Sinwar. Yahya Sinwar is the most evil person in the world, who was the leader of the resistance of the Hamas, who was supporting Iran regime. Khamenei were funded by Iran, was supporting the Hezbollah and Boko Haram and Al-Shabaab and the Jihad, all those radicals, who unalive a lot of Americans. In October 7, they kidnapped more than 7 Americans. They unalived 4 of them. When the American told him, what your citizen you are, he said, I'm an American citizen. Can you mute? I can't talk. He said, I'm an American citizen. They unalive him. The same like they done to Joshua, a Christian guy.
Explain the
from Zimbabwe.
colonizer thing. I don't understand it. Explain what that means, please.
Can you not? You just got up on the stage,
Yeah,
Shay.
can you
Can you
explain
not?
it?
Oh, I'm gonna have to take you down. I'm gonna let you speak.
Yeah, God
but
bless
you go.
Israel for bitch slapping Iran. We all support.
Okay, go ahead, Zephron.
Okay, so it's okay if I open the camera?
If you do what?
Open the camera.
I have no idea what you're talking about. Look,
Can I open my camera?
oh yeah, no, it's not gonna help you, to open your camera. Just express what you need to express. You got less than 30 seconds at this point.
Okay,
because
so let me finish. Okay, it's not matter now. Okay, I think you make a mistake because it's gonna be wonderful for your panel. But anyway, because I'm a diplomat, and because I'm working in the field, and because I had a very good contact in Washington D.C. in the White House, and because I know what I know, and because I speak Arabic, as a Jew, I'm telling you, in the Hadith 39, it's right down in the Quran, first of all, 44 times, Bene Israel. Bene Israel. Secondly, it's right down that in the end, a Muslim must unalive the Jewish people, even they are hiding after the tree. It's a very hard sentence in the Hadith 29. Sorry, in the Hadith 39 in the Quran. But I want to finish with the last sentence, if you don't mind. God bless America. We love you guys. We will never hurt United States. You will stay in our eye, and I wish Israel. I like, by the way, the picture of Donald Trump and the stars and the Magen David, because I wish Israel will be the 51 star in your beautiful flag. Thank you very much, sir.
Okay, guys, that was Zephron. And hold on, I do got a couple of people that are new to the stage, and I know some of you want to rebuttal what he just said, but let me go to a couple of the new ones, on the stage. That would be Rafa and Keelam. You haven't spoke yet, right?
Oh, yeah, I haven't.
Okay, so we're gonna go to Rafa, then Keela, and then we're gonna go to Simi, right? Rafa, Keela, and then Simi. Go ahead.
Thank you, host. Thank you for having me. I'm Palestinian. I'm from Gaza. I live in the United States. I just wanted to kind of give some pointers about Zafran. Zafran is a diplomat taxi driver in Tel Aviv, just so everyone is clear. We've known him for almost 3 years. So this whole diplomat of Africa, this is a bunch. It's a crock of BS. We all know who he is, but anyway, that's nor here nor there. Zafran, you're actually speaking to a group of people that are very knowledgeable on the situation. They're not happy with what their president is doing. And they're also not happy with what Netanyahu is doing because they understand oppression. All marginalized communities in the United States do. I think this conversation would be best brought to a group of maybe evangelists. I think they would listen to you a little bit, or maybe they wouldn't because you're a brown man and you speak Arabic. In regards to Bani Israel being mentioned in the Quran, the sons of Jacob, the late president of Egypt, Jamal Abdel Nasser, I don't know if you are, or if you know of him, host. Jamal Abdel Nasser says that we cannot trust the Israelis because they left black and came back white. Right? So the Israelis, or these people who are the dwellers of Egypt or the dwellers of Israel, claim that they are the indigenous people of Israel, but somehow came back as German and survivors who are European. So we're trying to figure out how this happened and how they genetically changed. I don't know if this is some miracle. But I think we're all seeing the effects of what Bibi Netanyahu is doing. Bibi Netanyahu has a chokehold on the United States of America. This is why he is pushing everyone to go into what is happening into Iran. Many will lose economically. They will lose their lives because of them both trying to stay into power while Trump is following the footsteps of Bibi Netanyahu. And then my third point is that the Israelis will come and anti-Islamophobes will come and push the whole rhetoric of how Islam is evil. But then they will quote verses from our Quran. So do you believe in our Quran or do you not? And the fourth point is not all Palestinians are Muslim. There are Palestinians who are Christians, some are Marxist atheists, some are Buddhists. Palestinians do not have one religion, and we are not from one racial lineage. That's all I had to say for right now. Thank you.
Thank you, Rafa. Hey guys, I want you to tap the screen. It doesn't cost you anything, right? The Daily Heart Me is up there. Please share the live and repost the live, okay? Let's go to Key Liam. Key
Oh yeah,
Liam.
yeah. Appreciate it. You got it. It's Kelly.
Can I go after that?
Yeah. 1 second. I got you, brother. So I just want to say that I think it's insane that the anti-Muslim propaganda is still being used in 2026. Now, I don't profess myself to be a Muslim, right? I believe in the scriptures of the Bible, but what we cannot do is ignore the fact that Bibi Netanyahu in the early 80s and 90s spoke that I don't know if I can say it, but weapons of war in Afghanistan, right? Which unalive almost 1 million Iraqis, right? This has to stop. At the end of the day, I feel like I've been to Israel when I was a child, right? First of all, DNA testing is ridiculed, right? It's almost illegal there, right? Because many of these people test back to Eastern European, right? Worldwide, globally, 80% of the Jewish population is Ashkenaz. What I find crazy, right, is that when you look in the scriptures and you go to Genesis 10, verse 3 through 6, Ashkenaz descends from Gomer, right? So, and Gomer descends from Japhet. To say that you guys are indigenous and that you guys have more right to any Palestinian on that land is insane to me, right? And I think Americans are finally waking up to the fact that we see who the true colonizer is. Just like you guys did in America, you guys are doing in that land, right? Even in the 2003, skin cancer was at an all-time high because naturally you people don't belong in that region, and God is showing you guys that. Right? The propaganda does not work anymore. We see through you. We're tired of our tax dollars going to your country. And I think my generation is now speaking up and we're calling you guys out. Also, one more thing, I'm going to be brief. In 1967, right, an Israeli military ship and torpedo boat craft attacked 34 innocent Americans, okay, in international waters. When is Israel going to take accountability? I feel like Trump failed. This is my personal opinion as a president. I didn't vote for him anyways, but I feel like he's just like the other presidents who bootlegs to Israel. And Americans, we see through y'all. We're waking up, and that's it. I have a military sister, and she's talking about there's whispers around her base that some of her friends may be shipped to Kuwait. For what? For that country? Nah. But yeah, that's it.
Okay, appreciate you.
Rebuttal this, please.
Yeah, hold on, Minkins. We got Simi, we got Sim, then
Sorry.
we got Doug, we got Simi and Doug. I think those were the last two that have not spoken at all. And then, yep, we can open the floor up, Minkins, and you can have your rebuttal. I did want to say this, as it was pointed out, they left black and came back white. I think that's what I was saying. The president of Egypt at that time, that was the comment, that he made, and why there are several countries that really to this day they're still disputing the claim that these people are, who they say they are, as we're talking about the dangers of colonization and what it means to decolonize, because the world is in conflict right now because these colonizers are moving, and they're moving and they're oppressing and looking to impress the entire globe and other nations and or people so they can have rulership, over the entire world. Now, I know we don't normally use terminology, like colonizer, but, after doing a little research into a concept called decolonization and the interest that the UN seem to have centered around identifying it as a crime. Okay. I just think from a networking standpoint, we all need to be able to have this conversation on even broader platforms and know what it means to express our intent and or purpose against the colonizers. Again, if this is a bully, as we say it's a bully, there's one thing I've seen with the bully. Once they get a real nice gut check, they seem to calm down. And the only way that's going to happen is if we know what it means to network. And again, that's about like the point, of this conversation and, bringing it to people's, understanding. We need to look more into what it means to networking around who these colonizers are, what illegal actions that they're taking. We know they're not going to hold themselves accountable. So, we have to take the measure as the people, right? And know what it means to, from a regional to a national to a global standpoint, be able to make our voice and our actions be heard in solidarity. So let's go to Simi and see what Simi got to say.
Hey, host. Thank you for having me up. I'm actually Lebanese myself. And let me tell you something. The photo in the background is very, very accurate, especially with colonizer number 2. For those who don't know, ever since the conception of this illegitimate state of Israel, they've been expanding their land. You know, as far back as the 1970s, they've encroached more on Lebanese land. This illegitimate state never submits their border coordinates or maritime coordinates to any organization because they know they're expanding. The organizations, whether it's United Nations or anyone else, they don't care. We've seen in the last couple of weeks this blue state telling over 1 million people in southern Lebanon that, hey, anything south of the Litani River is where we're going to set up demilitarization zone. What that actually means is we're going to occupy this land up until the river. For those who don't know, Lebanon is 10,452 square kilometers. I'm not sure what that is in miles. Them annexing this southern part of Lebanon will shrink Lebanon to 2/3 of what it was. And my dear Americans and everyone else that's here, I appreciate you guys learning the reality of what this blue state has been doing, not only to the Middle East, but also to Americans, controlling the government, controlling the narrative, changing laws, just for
Simi, I just want to bring your attention, to the sensitivity of that subject, and we sometimes have to say allegedly, although we understand, what it is that we're putting out, so that we don't get flagged for pushing what they would consider to be misinformation. So go ahead, Simi.
Sure, I'll use the word allegedly. So, yes, they've been allegedly controlling the narrative and allegedly pushing all these agendas. Everything from like their brother said before, Islamophobia. I'm not sure if I can say that word. From all this, anti, Middle Eastern rhetoric and all this misinformation. This has been coming from one source, the blue state. So. Yeah, I want to finish with saying I appreciate you bringing me up and letting me express this. And please, if there's anyone that disputes this at all, whether it's in the comments or in the panel, please go ahead. Otherwise, I'll stay up here and contribute to the conversation.
Okay. Yep.
Thank
Hang
you.
on in there. Doug, let's go to Doug, and then we're going to go to Minkins. Minkins wants to rebuttal. I hope I'm saying his name right. Yeah, Minkins.
Yeah,
Let's go to
you're
Doug.
fine, you're fine, man.
Hey, Cause, how you doing? I was here last night. Thanks for having me up.
Okay,
The
welcome back.
Sure. So if we're talking about colonizer eat, the colonizing is ramping back up again right now. Obviously, Israel and the Greater Israel Project is hot and heavy right now. And Sammy, I'm sorry what's going on in your country right now. It's awful what is being done to it by Israel. Nobody's looking at it really while we pay attention to Iran, but they are trying to annex the southern part of Lebanon, and we're at that river down south. Ridiculous. It's absurd. And they are unaliving thousands of people along the way. They do not care. They do not care. And of course, America is colonizing Greenland. Venezuela is part of it. Even Iran. What their goal is, obviously, this is in my opinion, and allegedly fighting for Israel in the Epstein class. The U.S. has no plan, no goals, no strategy. They also want to balkanize Iran. That's part of the plan too. Balkanizing, like they did in the Balkans. They want to cut it up, make it in different piece parts, drain the oil, drain everything they can, and leave them high and dry, like the U.S. always does. That's what the plan is: exploit, get it out of there, and get out. Leave them destitute. That's what the U.S. has always done. And the U.S. has got other problems too. As they get more and more into this escalation trap, which Trump is in, they have to protect the petrodollar now because Arab countries cannot spend their money investing in the stock market, which keeps the Ponzi scheme of American finances going here. And they can't support AI and data centers, which is the only thing propping up the United States economy. It's a Ponzi scheme. So anyway, I'll stop it right there. I'm probably getting close anyway.
I appreciate you, Doug, for your comments, for your thoughts. Guys, I want to say it one more time. The Daily Heart Me is up there. Share the live, repost the live, and we got a lot of people in the room. It doesn't cost you anything to tap the screen. I'm not certain if you're all at work, you're driving. I appreciate everybody for coming in, the panel, for their thoughts and, for the conversation. We're going to keep this thing going. Minkins, what is it that you wanted to rebuttal?
So I want to answer about everything here. So this is really like history is like an album photo, of your family. You need to go back and see snapshots of what really happened. If there's no picture, there is no history. In 1630, Israel was under Jewish law, by the way. We have sovereignty upon the land. And then the Muslim came and took over, established apartheid law, which called Omar laws. It's basically putting us as slave for the last 1400 years. Now, the population of Jews all across the Muslim world declined from 50% to 10% until 1880, people that claim, oh, the Jews were living good under Muslims. No, they're not. They were exiled us from our own land. And this is like the biggest gaslight in the world. They left only 15,000 Jews living in Israel in the year 1880, and you're playing with the colonizers. The Muslim colonizers that took 57 countries, annihilated all the people around there, Zoroastrians, Druze, Baha'i, Bedouins, Kurds, Christians, Jews. They had apartheid laws. Omar laws are apartheid laws. Now, look, how do we know who are the Jews? Because they had laws against us, against our communities, not just in a Muslim land under Omar laws, right? They could enter our home and stay there for 3 days. I don't know if you know about these laws. Also in the 1215 convention, the Trino Convention of the Church, they had for 800 years laws of Christians against the Jews. Everybody knew who we are. They had a trick. We had communication between our communities. We know who we are. A lot of people don't know who we are, and you don't know who you are, so you're claiming that you want to be us. I know if we will finish with that. The issue that everybody collaborate together, it's what's called replacement theory. People want to be us. They want to be the main character in the
Can I
story.
respond
So
to
what
that?
they do, they try to replace us. How they do it, it's really simple. They want to claim that we are not who we are because we got exiled and we returned to the land. 70% of all the Jews that living in Israel right now, the Israelites, are actually came from the Middle East. We are brown, bro. 70% of all the people that live in Israel right now, and we're getting mixed. So the people
Hold on, Minkin. That's 2 minutes. Trying to keep you guys, within that well-respected time. Minkins, I think it's interesting how,
too
you know,
much
you.
truth, bro. Too much truth.
No, I'm not saying it's too much truth. I mean, you had 2 minutes to say what you needed to say, So I just think it's interesting how you flip the scope of we're talking about the colonizers, and we have a colonizer one and colonizer two, and how you come and you're
The truth,
interjecting
bro.
and trying to make the Muslims, be a colonizer. I mean, you're moving the goalposts based on what we're like really here to talk about and what's going on. But again, that's your
What do you mean? Based
these.
on history? That's history.
Hold on, do me a favor, Minkins. Like nobody interrupted you when you were talking, so just stay on your mic. But it's just really interesting how you interject from that standpoint. But these are your thoughts, so you're entitled, to them.
No,
And we
bro. It's
hope that
history, not my thoughts.
I'm gonna have to put you down if you come off your mic one more time. This is just being respectful. Okay, I've asked you 3 times. All right. So and I want you to be able to stay to provide your comments so people can rebuttal, what it is that
I'm
you
sorry.
have.
I'm sorry for that. You're right. I'm sorry for that. I didn't mean to be because I just want to know if you rebuttal or just say nah.
You testing me. I'm telling you that you testing me, and I don't feel like being tested right now. So, but the way that he put the spin, as far as I'm concerned, he put a spin on it. All right. So let me open up the floor. I think somebody wanted to rebuttal what he said, and then I have a couple of more comments I want to add, and then we're gonna open the floor back up. Who was that? Was that Keelam
Oh
that
yes.
wanted to
Yeah, I just
go ahead, Keelam?
Rafa wanted to rebuttal too. I just want to be brief. He stated that if it's not on picture, it's not real, sir. Yours was just on film. Okay, there were more G size that happened much greater than yours. Okay, yours started for 12 years and ended once the H man was unalive. Okay, so stop it. We see through the propaganda. But Rafa, you can go.
Okay. Rafa, go ahead.
Thank you, host. It's actually outlandishly. It's such a an unintelligent argument when people make these arguments and say, well, the Jews were in the land, or the Jews were in the land. We're not saying that Judaism never existed in the Minna region. specifically that Judaism did not exist, for example, in places like Palestine or Bilad al-Sham, the Levant. What we're saying is those people are not you. So what they did is that the Zionist entity, beginning with Theodore Herzl, the father of Zionism, you guys are more than welcome to look into it, was a man who was a European man who was also an atheist, who started bringing settlers into Palestine. You can actually look up footage from this, of these settlers coming in from European nations, specifically Germany, and also other parts of Europe, into the ports of Haifa in 1941. And you can see them, they came with nothing, right? And they began to create their colonies and settlers in Palestine. Now, when we get to the part where they talk about, he keeps saying we're brown, like as if the group of people that we're speaking to and that are listening are so unintelligent to understand that there's a difference between a brown person from Iraq and a brown person from Palestine. I digress. These people are not Israelites. Their bloodline is not Israelite. They are not Hebrews. They come from neighboring countries. Part of the Zionist plan was to also bring in Jewish people, Jewish Arabs specifically, and non-Arabs from places like Morocco, Algeria, Iran, Tunisia. They even there was a operation called Operation Magic Carpet, where Yemeni babies were stolen from Yemen and brought into occupied Palestine. So kind of like a themed restaurant, so that they could make Palestine seem more us, Palestinian, right? Because they want to be us. They started.
Hey, hold on, Rafa. I'm tracking with you, but again, because of how sensitive it is with, I know you pointed out one of the operations, but just for safety measures, let's just try to put allegedly, on it so that you don't get flagged for misinformation. Although you're saying you can research it, I understand exactly what you're talking about, but let's just tread a little carefully because they're very sensitive. They own the platform, and we just want to be able to continue getting our thoughts out. Go ahead, Rafa.
Thank you. And I apologize. Yes, I'll be more careful with my words. In order for them to slowly incorporate themselves in occupied Palestine, and for them to kind of take over us. And then the last point I want to make, and I'll hand the mic to someone else, is modern day Hebrew is actually a mixture. Modern day Hebrew, ancient Hebrew, actually was a language never spoken by these ancestors of Europeans. Modern day Hebrew is a mixture of 12 million Arabic words and Yiddish. It was something that was invented by them. And so they hate us so much, but the funny thing is they copy us in everything that we do. Jesus spoke Aramaic, right? He never spoke Hebrew. And I'll pause there. Thank you.
All right. So real quick, let's we got Boogeyman that is on the stage. I want to let Boogeyman have a chance to speak, and then I have a few more comments that I want to make, and then I'm gonna open the stage back up. Boogeyman, go
Host,
ahead.
can I have a comment to her because she addressed it to me also? No comment?
No, you'll have a chance to rebuttal. Just hold your thought. Hold your thought.
Yeah,
All
what's
right, go
going
ahead.
on, man? How we doing tonight?
Doing fine, thank you. What you want to add to the conversation?
I mean, I'm just saying, man. Like the Zionist regime is getting too powerful, you know. And if you really look at the economy nowadays, the only economy with currency going up is Israel's currency. You feel me? And it's like there's a lot of things they're doing to their neighbors. They're trying to conquer land as we speak, and they're just bombing like everything over there, you know. And it's like nobody's keeping them in check because they're using America as well.
Okay, appreciate you, Boogeyman, for your thoughts. Now, I just want to add a couple of things, and then I'm gonna open the stage back up. I know Zafran was saying he wanted to rebuttal some things that um, Rafa, was saying. So you
Yeah.
guys just be
Can I?
patient. Be patient with me, and I'm gonna come back to you, Zafran. I wanted to point out as we're talking about decolonization, as we're looking at world conflict, and the world conflict is truly because of the colonizers. Okay, you look at Gaza. There was a 20-point plan that was allegedly offered in Gaza. And it seems as if, they're looking to put a puppet government, in Gaza. So they have this board of peace that they're talking about. Now, I don't know who really thinks, that this is a true board of peace when all the colonizer has ever done, and when you talk about history, all they've ever done is oppressed another people, their heritage, their culture. That's what colonizers do. Okay. Um, we need to realize this board of peace is nothing but an arm of the colonizer. It's centered around more colonization. And this is why we have to have more discussions, I think, looking at this different terminology and explaining why decolonization needs to happen on a global scale. And we need to interact and or network, with each other and come up with effective plans, processes, and strategies in order to deal with this on a global scale. Because they know as long as we're separate and trying to deal and or do this, they can maintain, their success and do what they do. But, if we're able to use, these platforms and, other social media spaces to like really come together and look at how we can function, we can be impactful. Okay. But the colonizer is real. What's happening with the conflict in the world, you all, that is real. When it's fiction and pure entertainment, it's like you all understand and you side with the resistance. But in real life, like most of you out there, it's like you see me as some kind of villain. You think I'm a disgruntled citizen turned rebel. That's how a number of you feel. But I'm in America and I've been oppressed. My people, are still being oppressed. America has been colonized. I don't know if you all forgot what happened and how they acquired, this land. Okay. When I say I'm not, an American, some of you get offended, but I know what it means to be American, and it's made up. That's something they created, and I'll never side with the oppressor. You all, that would be like Stockholm syndrome. I can't do it, won't do it. And I'll spend every ounce of my breath exposing it and looking to deal with it appropriately. But when I say I'm not American, some of you, you get offended. And that tells me you don't know. You have no idea. It was never meant for me to be an American. They say, that we were 3/5 of a man, and they say, that no descendants of Africans were ever meant, to be citizens. But you all want to try to sweep stuff like that under the rug because it's 2026 and we got better cars and nice homes and, we got jobs making hundreds of thousands of dollars. And you all, this is paper with the pictures of the slave masters on it. It's insane, that we fall for it, from the standpoint of because they're offering us, something. But it was never meant, for me to be an American unless I'm a slave. Okay? But you all didn't we exist before the creation of an America? Because America is a new creation if you're like really tracking, and dealing with the antiquity of history, or like have you forgotten, these things? So consider this axiom, and I'm almost done. I'm almost done, y'all. Consider this axiom to live by, right? Oppression should make a wise man mad, but a gift destroys the heart. Now, that's Ecclesiastes 7:7. Oppression should make a wise man mad, and a gift destroys the heart. The problem is, a majority of you have accepted the gift, and it has destroyed your heart and or your mind. A number of you, as long as you can get money to feed your belly, then you've sold your family, your lineage, your generations, you've sold them out. And you're siding with the oppression. You're siding with the colonizer. You're okay with the corruption, guised behind a board of peace. All right, from the turbulent 60s, like even up until now, the gift, that's what destroyed your heart, your mind. So we have been educated to be confused. Like we talk about our privileges, over our rights. We don't understand or distinguish what the difference is. We're just living vicariously because they give us gifts. The crumbs for some are bigger than the crumbs for others, And an example is, there's a guy named Floyd Mayweather out there. Some of you may know him. He's a well-known athlete. And he'll tell you that there is no problem. And he's sided with his oppressor. He's sided with the colonizer over his own people. He'll fund the interest and the initiative of the colonizer while the people within his own neighborhoods to region to national, international, they suffer. Right? But as long as it's entertainment and it's movies, you all love the resistance. But here in real life, the resistance is appalling to you. And we must highlight who the colonizer is, point them out, and make it known that as they're talking about Cuba and as they're trying to deal with Iran and as they're dealing in Lebanon and as they're expanding, these are more efforts hiding behind colonization. And this is why we need to talk about decolonization. All right, go ahead, Zafran.
Thank you very much, Mr. Host. Some issues, I'm going to do it fast because you don't like to speak people too much. Okay. First of all, to Rafah, the Zionism never came from Theodor Herzl. The Zionism came from Eretz Zion Yerushalayim. Eretz Zion Yerushalayim came from the Torah. God gave the Luchot HaBrit to Moses, right? It's right down in the Quran. It's right down in the Bible. Not in Arabic. باللغة العبرية, in Hebrew. The Torah, it's in Hebrew, not in Arabic. One. Secondly, sir, with all due respect, Mr. Host, I'm respecting you. The colonizers were not the Jewish people who came back to their own land. The colonizer came from Egypt, from Jordan. They called to them Palestine. Palestine will never existed. Never, ever. By the United Nations in 1948, Israel was established by the United Nations as Israel. And we have our borders, we have our army, the IDF. We will continue protecting our country. You understand, Mr. Host? Israel exists and stay here forever. We are not going to be the greatest Israel. We don't want to great Israel to be bigger. No. Do you know the Pegasus? The Pegasus system is the best intelligence in the world. We are listening to them 24/7. You understand, sir? They want to unalive us. You know, the Hezbollah want to do October 7 10 times, 10 more, 10,000 times more. You understand, sir? Hamas is the same issue. The same system with Iran of funding all those radicals. They come to your country. I'm not sure what is your religion. Well, my opinion, I think you're Muslim. It's okay. I have no problem with Muslims. 90% of my brothers and sisters are Muslims. Beautiful Muslims, not radicals. By the way, in Morocco, we are.
That's 2 minutes. That's 2 minutes, Zafran. Wrap it up. Wrap it
Okay,
up,
I'm
Zafran.
finishing. I'm finishing. Sir. So I want to, first of all, I want really to thank you for the time you give to me. And it's a very respectful panel, by the way, because you give each one his time. Anyway, I'm finishing now with the last sentence. You see this guy in my picture, Mr. Tomer. He's the best pilot of the F-35 in the world. In the world. He educates our young guys of 20, 22 years old, 23 years old, and we will be the best of the best forever. We will protect our country forever. Remember.
Thank you, Zafran. Thank you. All right. Your 2 minutes and try to give you a little time to wrap it up. And I understand you're
Can I
passionate. You
respond
know,
to that?
no problem. We got somebody new that
Host,
came
you
on
didn't
the
let me
stage.
to finish my sentence, with all the respect.
Well, I was trying to tell you, man, we dealing with, time and other people are on the stage. You'll get another chance to speak. But your 2 minutes came. I tried to let you
Okay, thank
know.
you. But can I have one sentence? Just one sentence. One.
One second. Go ahead, Zafran. And look,
One
I'm just trying to
sentence.
tell.
One sentence.
Go ahead.
Anybody, again, listen to me carefully, will approach to Israel, will try to do October 7th, or Schmittler Yazi, like this Raha and others, we will destroy them. Thank you.
All right. So that's Zafran, everybody. And I just want to point out, the colonizers, you all, like, right now, I believe Netanyahu is wanted for war crimes, the ICC, but these people have no regard for law. They have no regard for law. And Zephron, you're wrong. I'm not a Muslim. So, people may look at me and make that assumption, but I'm not a Muslim and I don't deal with religion. I see religion as a creation of men themselves, but I do understand heritage.
Oh,
Okay?
okay, so you have no religion, sir.
Okay. You can stay on your mic. You can stay on your mic. But these folks, they do not deal, with law. You guys mute up for me, and I'll come around. I'm gonna open the stage up here in a second because we got somebody new that's going to talk. Uncle Crypto is going to speak, but they don't respect law, international law, right here in America. They don't respect, the laws that they create. They're now making as if their policy, is the law. And the question is, who is the criminal? Right? So you can side with who you're siding with. And I'm just saying, I will never side with my oppressor. I will never watch the colonizer move to oppress somebody else and cheer for them as if they're doing something so great. My call to action is to call all people within other nations understanding what the colonizer has done and come to know what it means to work internationally and or create these networks to where we can be effective in being able to stop it. Okay. um let's go to Uncle Crypto. Go ahead, Uncle Crypto.
Hello, good afternoon, good morning, good evening, wherever you guys are. Thank you very much for giving me the opportunity to talk here. I just heard like one guy here before. Unfortunately, somehow I don't agree with anything he said. Um, the humanity has seen for last 3 years, since we have these internet and social media, we have seen a G-side happening in front of our eyes. Literally, every day, you know, I saw these children helpless, hungry, deprived of everything, like liberty is something else, but they had they had no help from us. Nobody could stand from them. And these animals, I'm really sorry to say, but they're also human beings, but like 80% of them are supporting to annihilate a nation, regardless of religion. Regardless of religion. We are all human beings, and people who support something like this, literally, they should be put in concentration camps. Really. They need therapy, guys. They really need therapy.
Can't say that.
And
You can't say that. That word get your lot
they need
taken.
therapy. They need
Right.
therapy.
What,
If that person can say
hold
anything
on.
that
Uncle Crypto, what he's trying to say based on the TikTok etiquette, we have to be mindful of certain things that we say.
I
So
get
when you
it.
talk,
I get it. I'm like, please don't understand me wrong. It is for therapy of these people because these people really don't understand what humanity.
I'm trying to tell you, Uncle Crypto, I don't understand you wrong. I'm just needing you to realize the severity of what's being said so I don't have to remove you because they send me a warning telling me to take you off, or they threaten to shut down the live, or they're saying it's misinformation. So
Okay,
let's stay on about TikTok etiquette, guys.
I get it. I get it. Like this so-called freedom of speech, we know, like the mask that they had on themselves. They want to contain everyone, whoever wants to talk the truth, whoever wants to say what reality is. We just are being marginalized as human beings. Like the control of this Z class, this E class, the people, this 0.1% of the people who are sitting above all of us, who have the whole wealth in their hands, they are the ones who want us. It's just like a new kind of slavery. Yeah. They want us to just say what they think is right, what they like regard as justice. There is no justice left in this world. There is really no justice left in this world. I really
All right, Uncle Crypto, I appreciate you. We got 2 minutes. The panel is full right now. You hang in there. We'll let you come back around if you want to rebuttal, and if you want to have something else, that you want to add. I just want to make sure I point out one more time, you all, that the colonizers do not respect law. They don't respect international law. They're looking at their policy as if they're trying to make that some form of law, or they look at it like the law applies to everybody but them. And I think you all know what I'm talking about. So, world conflict right now is really because of colonization. And this is why we really do have to address what it means to decolonize right here in America as well, and then being able to connect with other nations and people, globally, that we can speak and or deal with this with a type of bond or organization that they just haven't seen, before. And as Crypto was expressing, we supposed to have freedom of speech, but look at us. We're dancing around our words and can't say this and can't say that. So we just have to be real strategic, in this day and time as to, how we look to, maneuver. It seems like Angela Jane, you want to say something? Go ahead, Angela. We hadn't heard
Yeah.
from you in a minute.
Thank you so much. Yeah, just taking in a lot. Zaffron should have his camera off, though. That's a really disturbing thing he has on his thing. I think you should have him turn off his camera.
Oh, okay. I
Yeah.
can't see it.
What do you mean turn off my camera? What I've done?
Yeah, it's people's faces with being crossed off, like a
So,
bingo.
and to
Yeah.
say the Jays, to insulting the Jay, it's okay?
Yeah, that's
Well,
disturbing. Please
Yeah,
don't.
you're disturbing me also. Your picture also disturbing me, man.
hold on, Angela. Hold on. Hey,
Can you please
Zaffron.
drop him? He's just like a nuisance. Like,
Hold on, guys.
please drop him down. He's just.
I can handle this, guys. I don't need help. I can handle it. Trust me, I can handle it. Zaffron, just do us a favor right now. The images are offensive, and TikTok doesn't like for people to deal with information within the community guidelines. That's offensive. So just kind of do us a favor and if you can put up another image that's more
I will
appealing.
put another one, of course, because you are the host and I respect it. No problem.
What are those of?
Listen. Let's keep the conversation
Faces.
going.
Faces. Yeah.
Okay, go ahead, Angela.
Yeah. So, I just, it's hard when we're listening to Zionists make excuses for the fact that officially it was 21,918 children that were unalived in Gaza. I want to repeat that: 21,918 children. We're talking 31% of those unalived were children. 17% were women. 5% elderly. There is not a single person in Gaza who hasn't lost many people. I know people in Gaza that have lost their oldest sons to a building falling on them, to their youngest sons because their tent, it rained in December and it was so cold, the rain, and they were in cotton clothes, and a 4 and 9-year-old passed. This is real life. And to have anyone come and try to diminish what the people in Palestine are still going through, it should boil everyone's blood. And I don't usually get sensitive to it because I'm used to how ravenous Zionists are. But still, regardless, I think it's so important that we remember, like, many of us come from lineages of oppressed people. And this is our time to use what has been taught to us to pass that along. Because that is our born genetic code that our ancestors went through. So as an Irish person, like, I'll ride or die for the oppressed. Thank you.
Thank you, Angela. You guys, once again, tap the screen. It doesn't cost you, anything. And the Daily Heart is there. Do share the live, repost the live. We're having a really good discussion. For the most part, I hope we're shining light, on something that is trying to be covered up under the guise of peace and a board of peace and a 20-point plan for Palestinians and a 15-point plan for the Iranians, while they just run and have no respect, for law itself. Okay, again, I point out, y'all correct me if I'm wrong. I mean, I've heard some people say they don't care. They've said they don't care that Netanyahu is considered or he's wanted by the ICC. They said they'll never acknowledge the ICC. And this is the type of stuff that we're talking about and why we have a colonizer 1 and a colonizer 2. Okay? And they're leading the pack, of colonizers. And that's the problem within the conflict in the world right now. They're trying to colonize the entire world. And if we as people don't understand how to deal with this from the standpoint of creating more networks and being able to speak about this more consistently and being able to devise communities whereby we're able to show what we're doing locally, regionally, nationally, internationally, that there's some solidarity, that we don't agree. Because right now we're separate and they know we're separate. And because we're separate, that allows for them to be stronger. And again, a number of you say bully. You say, colonizer number one, you say this is a bully. And I'm telling you, I've seen all bullies. Once they get that gut check, everything changed. And the only way these colonizers are going to get a gut check is if we ban across lines, across communities. That's the only way this going to happen. Okay, so I'm going to open the floor, back up and make it to where you guys can continue adding to the discussion. You may want to rebuttal what you heard Zaffron say.
May I respond to a couple things? I've been taking notes in the background.
Sure, go ahead.
Okay, thank you. Also thank you for sharing your perspective about America and like what it means to be a Black man in the colonial project. That took me back a little bit, and in a good way, not like in a negative way. But I'm essentially saying thank you for sharing that with us, and I hope that people took time to digest that. So I wanted to take notes about the conversation, and the one thing that I noticed is that they kept resorting back to Islam, like almost like a dog whistle, like we were just supposed to be like, oh, Islam, that's bad and all of that. But I don't think they realized that we also we have a melting pot here, so that doesn't really work anymore. And we also have technology, so that absolutely failed, and that's why we were all like, why do they keep saying that? You don't need to be any particular religion to see that this country is fully invaded by a foreign entity. I mean, just literally pay attention to the movements of the people. The comment that Zafran, whatever, the guy on the panel there, the pro-Israeli, Yahya Sinwar was literally a resistance fighter. This man was 60 years old and was fighting in Gaza with his people on the ground until his last breath because he believed in his cause and his people's freedom. This was literally a Palestinian leader who was fighting the colonizers who had a full-on siege in the Gaza Strip. The other thing I also wanted to address was the Americans that were taken as collateral by the resistance were literal occupiers that held dual citizenship. They could have been here at home safely with us, but instead they chose to occupy lands as a part-time hobby. And in addition to that, involved the USA as leverage to get some of those people back. So that's another way that these people use us. And then in addition to that, I also wanted to make a comment about the colonial aspect of this. We don't have to try to figure out if these people are colonizers. They've said it themselves. I mean, you can go into Google right now and Google New York Times articles where they published with their intentions out in public. Literally, one of them is titled "Conference of Zionists Will Colonize Palestine." This was published in 1899. Like, we don't need to debate whether this was a colonial project. It's literally Manifest Destiny 2.0. Just pay attention. You don't have to be a rocket scientist to put two and two together. So yeah, that's all I wanted to say. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. And you're right. And again, it's like that's my point, is to bring it back to the surface, to be able to highlight it, to say they're brazenly expressing what they're doing, and we're just acting as if things are normal. And it's like, this is not normal. And we really do have to, we got to do something different. We can't, let it be because, we're getting paid, and, we really do have to have a shift in our mind with respect to how we're going to deal with this, and sacrifice will have to be made. And let me say this, I know everybody can't stomach it, and I know a number of you will stay with these people, those people, the colonizer. I mean, you're just not going to, you're not going to do anything that will cause you any degree, of pain for, the cost of true freedom. I get it. Mad at you. Okay, that's your choice. But for those of us that do understand these things need to be done, we must continue building our bridges, our networks, and coming up with those effective strategies to whereby, we can deal with this not only in America, but we can deal with it for Cuba. We can deal with it, for Iran. We can deal with it for anybody that has to deal with the world conflict. And the world conflict is colonization, period. You can call it, war or freedom or democracy. You can call it what you want. It's colonization. That's an open secret. Okay? Seem like
Can I add something real quick?
sure, go right ahead.
I appreciate it, brother. I'm finna drop. I just want to say that because I gotta get to work. I just want to say that as black men, right, we know what colonization looks like, right, and we have relations with colonization from colonizer 1 and 2. People don't know that Jewish people also funded the transatlantic slave trade.
All right, that's
Allegedly,
it.
my fault. All right, I'm sorry. I'm reading a book called The
The shrimp.
Relationship. Yes, I'm reading a book called Relationships Between Jews and Blacks, and it got my head spinning. But people don't know that, right? And you have to understand that Britain, and I believe his name is Theodore Herzl. He was the founder of political Zionism. He actually offered for the Jewish colony to be in South America and in Kenya. And he stated that because there were animals and lions and stuff in Kenya and those in certain parts of Africa that they could not live in those regions, allegedly, right? So also, even with colonizer 1, we have to understand that Trump, he changed Department of Defense and renamed it to Department of War, right? This is how these people think. They're bloodthirsts. And on that note, I appreciate, love y'all. I gotta go. Thank you for giving me space and time to speak.
Appreciate you. Hopefully you'll come back.
I definitely will.
Okay. All right, so we got somebody new just came up. Breeza.
Just Bree is fine.
Briazine. Okay, Briazine, what you want to
No,
add
no,
to
no,
the
just
conversation?
Bree. You could just say Bree.
Okay, Bree.
Thank you. Thank you for letting me up.
Hey, did you send somebody my way last time?
Oh, you ain't got a bag for?
What you want to say, Bree? I'm sorry, I have to put him on mute. Go ahead.
Thank you, because I couldn't hear. So, host, I actually did ask you a question in the comments because you had made a statement. Who still has a background noise? Sorry. You were you suggesting that Israel is trying to colonize Iran?
I'm sorry, you're asking me, was
Yeah.
I suggesting
Yes.
that Israel is trying to colonize Iran? I'm suggesting that the colonizers are looking to colonize Iran from the standpoint of removing their right to self determination, or forgetting the fact that this is a people that have a heritage, this is a people that have a history, and this is a people that, they deal with self determination, and I'm sure they have some problems, okay? And I'm not supporting any aspect of corruption and things of that nature, but I can't cheer on the fact that I'm being oppressed and the same people that's oppressing me is acting like they're trying to liberate somebody else. It doesn't make sense, from that standpoint. So I know they have their problems over there, but yes, colonizer 1 in Colonizer 2, they're definitely trying to take that control over that region, over those people. They want to put their own government there so they can have control over the resources. And so yes, that would be the understanding that they're looking to colonize that place and those people as well.
So, if I may, hold on. Did you want to say something? Oh, okay. If I can just, so I'm an Iranian American one. Both my parents are from Iran. I was born here, and so Iran, for a large portion of its history except for since 1979 to the current times, has been the powerhouse of that region, along with Israel, since Israel's inception, and they were allies. I think a lot of the talks that people are not. So I'm a Democrat, okay? And right now I'm finding myself politically homeless a bit because whenever I go on lives and I say, yes, I do support the intervention, I get called a fearmonger. I'm sorry, not a fearmonger, a warmonger, and which is crazy because I'm not at all. But I am okay with, I think you have to ask yourself a question. When people in a country are in the country, in Iran, right, they're asking for intervention. You have, like, to get boom boomed, you have to ask yourself how bad the situation has to be. And mhm.
Well, you have to think it's the same thing over here where, my people have been asking for an intervention and something needs to be done, but, it's like we have to deal with it, in a different manner. Nobody's coming, to our rescue, looking to liberate us, or the same colonizer that claimed they want to go over there and do something over there. I mean, it's not happening right here, right? As the other woman expressed, this is a melting pot, over here, but, they're doing things very differently. And, some people are being looked at and or esteemed, differently than others. And we just need to be able to honestly see it for what it is and just come to know there's something called unalienable rights. And people have a right to self-determination. People have a right, for us, we have a right to reclaim our autonomy, because it's as if we've forgotten we're a people still being ruled by another nation of people. Go ahead and finish your thought.
So what if, so to that point, what if the people of Iran, in their self-determination, like I was suggesting earlier, they want intervention from other countries because they don't have the Second Amendment, they don't have any of those things, and they need that help. And they're not necessarily saying, hey, come over here and do what you did with Iraq and boots on the ground and all that. No, just a little help to get rid of these, like what they've done, What about that? Would you consider that self-determination?
What I do realize is there's something called Operation Ajax,
I do know
and
about that, yes.
and you've had interference with the U.S. and or CIA and the MI6 for ages, for generations.
Well, we're an
So
oil-rich nation, so yeah, that would always happen. I do agree with you on that.
it's an interesting position,
Mhm.
with respect to what influences. For example, they're utilizing resources to say, hey, the people want us to come in and do this. So a lot of times we don't know through political theater, right? And the narrative trap. And these folks spend billions of dollars to wag the dog, use their media to show you this, let you see that, So all I'm saying, and I'm going to allow people to have their opinion and their expression. All I'm saying is I'll never side with the oppressor, because I know what they do. I know who the colonizer is, and I don't see them trying to free another people while, a people here is still being colonized and is still fighting for independence, and they go ignored.
You
So,
know
but
what?
people.
Host, I have a comment, if you don't mind. May I have a comment, Host?
Hold on 1 second. Hold on. Go ahead. Finish
Thank
your
you. I
thought.
just have one last thought. I mean, I think that's fair what you're saying, and I can respect that. I think though, for a lot of people, like you were saying about like narratives that are coming out, they're not like to a lot of Iranians, they're not just narratives or just stories. I can understand that people, who don't have family there, who don't have access to like the information that we're getting from them about body bags, like in 2 days, January 8th and 9th, I think around 32K people were unalived, with military grade weapons. Anyway, sorry, excuse me, pew-pews, and body bags just like all over the place, and people had to identify them. The stories go on and on and on, and this has been happening for 47 years. So while I can understand, of course, that your position, I don't necessarily think that this one is about. I wonder where this one will fall into, like in World War II, for example, the H cost, right? Obviously, there was a need for people to intervene and help, right? For countries to do so because there's a humanitarian crisis. At one point, do we distinguish that? Do we say, hey, you know what? There is a humanitarian crisis and we do need to step in and help these people who are innocent and they're at the mercy of a government with the military?
Well, I can only I can only express it from this point. There is world conflict, and right now the concept of colonization, is definitely a part of that problem. Why you're chanting peace at the same time, you're entrapping and/or oppressing other people. That's very hypocritical. Let me go real quick to power. Power. What is that? Power innovation. Power
Brother,
innovation, and then True Blue Fact.
Okay, you say you're going from
brother,
this.
I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. May I kindly go after Power because I do have to drop for the evening. Is that okay?
Okay, go ahead.
Who is that? Rafa?
Alpha, yes, yes.
Okay. He said, "Go ahead, Rafa."
Okay, thank you so much. And I'm going to end with this, and I would love to. First of all, brother, first of all, I tip my hat to you, brother. Number one, for knowing the truth. Number two, because all the big hitters are coming in here. You've got people like Tango Ideas who sat there and tried to romanticize the G side of my people for the last 3 years. Tingo Ideas made G-Side fun,
You the one who
DIY.
unalive
She
our
she
babies
she
in
was
October
the
7, you
she
piece of
was
shit.
she
You the
was
one who.
she was the Miss Rachel of G-Side, of how to unalive brown children, and now she's trying to creep her way. But anyway, I don't want to speak about that. I just wanted to talk about Brizaza and American, or the Western
Why you,
intervention, even when
Rafa?
it goes
Excuse me to
to
cut you off.
when it
Why you
goes
don't talk
into
about
when it
Gaza?
goes
They have a
into
street
when it
called
goes
Abid.
into when we talk about places like Kuwa.
Rafa, hold on, Rafa. I apologize, Rafa. Hold on, guys. I will not tolerate you coming off your mic, interrupting people while they're speaking. Okay, we've been having a very respectful and/or orderly conversation. If you want to come up on this stage, just follow that one rule. Stay on your mic. Respect my guests. Rafa, go ahead.
Thank you, brother. And so Western intervention, even in places like Cuba that we're seeing right now, is it's funny that you mentioned it. I spent some time in Cuba. They're doing to Cuba the same thing that they're doing to Gaza, which is basically a complete and entire blockade that's actually been going on for years. There's no gas. They're cutting off water. They're cutting off electricity. And basically, it's to force them into an American colony or an Anglo-Saxon colony, to be more specific, right? So we're very aware of this. So there's two sides of this in regards to Western intervention in Iran. That the Americans really showed out on the first day that they were freeing the Irani people by unaliving 186 little girls that day. So I'm very sure that these little girls would be more happy wearing their burqa or wearing their hijab than they would be right now without their parents in the next life. Western intervention is not needed anywhere, but the only problem is that America is the biggest colony on the face of this planet. America lives and feeds its citizens, yes, all of us who live here, off of the liquids and the natural resources of other nations, and the Americans fall for it every single time because they are a country that makes money off of this. That's what I had to say, brother. And by the way, the number is 680,000 martyrs in Gaza. That number cannot be confirmed because of the types of artillery that were used on the citizens of Gaza. There's called battle-tested artillery, meaning these toys that were shown were never known by mankind, meaning a lot of the people actually evaporated into thin air. And so now they can take these into other regions like Iran, like Cuba, and wherever else they plan on taking over or colonizing. I appreciate you, brother, and I'll definitely be back for another live. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Rafa. Power, power renovation, power,
Yes, yes.
and then we're gonna go to true blue fact. Go ahead.
Okay, first of all, you say you're going from this time and on, right? You said it, the host, right? So I'm
I
gonna
said
explain
what?
you. You say you express yourself from this time and on, right? You don't want to talk about the Holocaust, the H cost, right?
I,
You just said
I'm
it.
not sure what you're talking about.
Okay, let's say you say we colonizer. I'm Israeli, but I was raised in San Francisco since I was 11. I'm 61 in a month. But let me explain you something. First of all, the October 7th was horrible. They don't mention October 7th. You know, Iran tried to take the Israel face off the map for 40 some years. Okay? This is okay. If the Mossad didn't find all these nuclear plans and everything when they were there, this whole world would have been bombed already. Okay? Thank God the Israeli have a high intelligence in the world and they give a lot of intelligence to America. Okay? They have missiles to come over here. You want to be bombed over here with those missiles? And October 7, when they analyze all these people and the Peace Festival, the Nova Festival, how many people got unalive? Do you know, since you're a host and you know everything?
That's really disingenuous to
What do you
say
mean
just
ingenuine? Oh, to unalive Jews and Israeli, it's okay?
disingenuous. It's disingenuous for you to say I'm a host and I know
No, I'm
everything.
saying you have knowledge. That's what I mean. You have a lot of knowledge. That's what I'm saying.
Okay. Well, I'm not
That's what I
certain of.
meant. I didn't mean anything bad.
All right. Well, I'm not certain of any number
Okay.
exactly as
Well, October 7, did you know how they unalive those babies, the Bebas? I'm sure you know the Bebas, the redhead. They unalive them with their own hands.
Yeah, I don't know. It seemed like they were saying those accounts were not truly confirmed, but they kept
It
going.
is
Or
confirmed. My friend, all my family, my father, rest in peace, was a Mossad. Most of my family are Mossad agent. I have a high-ranking family in the Israeli IDF. My son is American, was born in San Francisco. He's an Air Force pilot, a war pilot. Okay, I know a lot of things that people don't know here. A lot of Palestinian are propaganda. Propaganda. And do you feel that Iran was trying to destroy Israel off the map? How much threat can we take? If I come and threaten you every day, for like a year, you're not gonna do something about it? Psychological. How much can we take that stuff? They're gonna demolish Israel off the map. We got to do something about it, and we did. And we found all the resource because we have a high intelligence. The Israelis number one, the Mossad, all over the world. But get to the point, you know, October 7th was horrible. It was not only Israeli, it was people from all over the world in the Nobel Festival. They came in all these kibbutz, all these villages. They start unaliving people left and right. Okay, they took hostages. Everybody knows that. So what do you think? Are we gonna be with our hand crossed and sit on a couch? Of course we have to do something. And payback time is a bitch sometime, and you cannot help it. Whatever they do to us, we tried to do peace with them 6 times. They never came to the table. We have 2 point something million Palestinians live in Israel. They love it. If you ask them if they want to go to any other country, they would say, no, we love Israel. We have Arab, Palestinian, Muslim, Shia serving in the Israeli IDF. And I'm sure you saw Yosef Haddad, that he was a commander on the Israeli IDF, that he was commanding Israeli soldiers, Jewish people. We're not apartheid. We're not colonizing. Look at the Muslim. How many countries they have? The Muslim or the Arab, Arabian. We only have one freaking little country, smaller than less than New Jersey. What the F they want from us? One little country. We were there before Islam, before Christianity. The Jews were there.
Okay.
Excuse me, sir.
I
I got a
power.
question.
Is he done?
Hold on, guys. I power renovation. You know, one thing I'll say about this platform, good, bad, or indifferent, you know, it's my aim to let people be heard, right? And then, you know, we would hope to be able to have a healthy discussion, debate. I mean, not debate, but rebuttal
I
to what's being
respect you for
said,
that. I respect that.
you know, and we let you talk. Nobody, you know, interrupted, and we try to keep it down to 2 minutes, and I even let you go beyond, you know, that 2 minute point. I believe this may be your first time, you know, on my panel. So um, now I'm just going to open it up and just kind of let others, if they want to rebuttal
Yes,
what
sir.
you, or if they want to
Can
add
I speak, host,
Can I
before you
say?
open it up?
or if they want to add to, you know, what you were saying. And I just ask that you be respectful and not come off your mic like people didn't come off, you know, their mic while, you know, you were talking. That's the one thing we look to do. I think was True Blue. Um, is True Blue still
Yes.
here? Okay,
Yes.
True
I'm
Blue.
still here. I was asking, can I speak? But I didn't want to interrupt you.
Okay, I think you were next. Yeah.
Yes, sir. But I wanted to make sure you was through with all your announcements before I said anything.
Okay, True Blue. Yes, go ahead and guys again. Just don't come off your mic while people are talking. I'm moderating. Let me handle it. I got it. I don't need no help. Go ahead, True Blue.
Well, it's interesting when I hear the way people characterize the Israels, that the ones that are there now, that are basically joined the judicial, the if you will, the faith. I don't need to go into that history because that's just a historical truth. That's not bloodline, what you call a true Jew, because that's not who they are, number one. But number two, you can't make an argument about someone doing something to you and you have the right to defend yourself when you initiated it, starting all the way back to 1953 when you went in along with the British and some other countries to take these people's natural resources and gave it to BP. As a result of that, you took out their elected official, just like you did when you claimed to say you were going to allow the Palestinians to have a few of what you call a fair election, as long as they voted who they wanted. They voted in Hamas. You wouldn't recognize their government. You kept penalizing their people. You wouldn't allow them free travel. You wouldn't. You put all kind of sanctions on the people after you went over, it's kind of like if I had Texas and you came in and took Houston. Now you want to give me Houston and take the whole Texas. And then you want to tell me what kind of movement and saying it's your bloodline that you have this. But it's all about natural resources. And we need to stop hiding behind this nonsense of some kind of way someone doing something nefarious to you, highlighting something that you've been arguing about for 40 years, this nuclear weapon argument that never existed. There's never been any evidence of that. Even when Obama came in and finally made a deal, if you telling me you're doing something in good faith, why would you tear it up? And I'm negotiating again, you bomb me. I negotiate again, you bomb me, and you think I'm gonna negotiate with you again? It makes no sense. What you're arguing about is the same colonizations they did in Australia, the same colonizations they've done all throughout the African country, North America, you name it. It's not a place these colonizers have not gone, created genocide, and changed their characterization of that and call it spreading democracy, pioneer, things of that nature. But everyone else got to be held to a higher standard, and you won't even submit yourself to the world court. This the hypocrisy of this. And you do it all over the nation. And if anybody call you out, your number one weapon is to characterize those individuals just like you did the people that look like me in this country. Every time we fought back, we were thugs. We were hoodlums. We were everything you can think of because we didn't want to be oppressed. You have this notion that you have the footprint of the planet running around colonizing people. And when they fight back, you want to call them terrorists and everything you can think of. It's not.
All right, true blue, true blue fact. Appreciate your comment right there. And again, just because the stage is full, you'll get another chance to speak. You made some very valid, points there. We want to try to keep our comments within that 2 minute, time frame. And just like what was his name? Hold on. Just like power renovation, I let them go over, a little bit. So I let you go over a little bit, but now we're gonna go to a couple of new people that have come on the stage, and let them speak. Guys, mute up your mics, please. First, I'm gonna go to Mr. Vanilla. Then we're gonna go to from Mr. Vanilla. We're gonna go to Chef. All right, from Mr. Vanilla to Chef, and then Conscious is on the stage. Go ahead, Mr. Vanilla,
Oh,
Chef, and then Conscious.
okay, thank you, sir. Thank you for letting me speak and for joining this panel. I'm from Sweden. I'm just want to tell my opinion about the war minister, so called, of the U.S. He is so often claiming he is a Viking. Well, I can tell he is not a Viking. I am a Swedish man, ethnic man, tall, blonde, whatever you characterize as a Viking. And I know a lot about the history of Vikings. They did bad things on their raids, but they had something that is called honor. They would never had killed 167 girls like the war minister.
Mr. Vanilla, do me a favor, Mr. Vanilla, with our TikTok, vernacular. Let's just try to put unalive in place of the K word as you're expressing the sensitive nature of what you're talking about. Go ahead, Mr. Vanilla.
Okay, I'm sorry. I'm pretty new to this. I will be a little bit more sensitive. But claiming that he is a Viking, it's not true because we had something there wouldn't be situations compared to that what happened during the initial minutes of this invasion. And it's important to me to say, as a Swedish dad, that we, the Scandinavian men, are not behind this kind of rhetoric because it's in our name, and he is not connected to Scandinavia since 200 years. So I just want to say that to the world, like he is not a Viking, he's a fake Viking. So it's important to me to say, and I'm just that was what I wanted to say tonight. And thank you very much for letting me say that.
Thank you, Mr. Vanilla. All right, let's go to Chef, and then we're going to go to Conscious.
Yeah, what's going on, brother?
All right, Chef, how you doing?
I'm good. I'm good. Yeah, I totally agree with the prompt. I've been saying that each time that I've spoken about this, you know, debacle that's transpiring in the Middle East, I've been saying like that's what we're seeing in real time. It's one thing to read about what the British did, you know, back in the day, but it's ironic to like experience that in real time. And so I don't think that people are able to equate the two. I don't think they're connecting the dots. So, you know, so I just find it mind-boggling when I see people who are in complete agreement. They're excited about the fact that we are in this conflict, and they believe the propaganda and the rhetoric when they say, you know, about the Ayatollah or about the people over there in general. And so I see it for what it is. I mean, any person that understands historical facts and understand how we even got here as a nation, then they should have to understand how, you know, the colonization has happened throughout the years. And I don't think a lot of people are that informed about history, and which is why they're not really connecting, like I said, the dots. And I think if they were to do so, hopefully they would have a different position on that. But yes, that is spot on. Colonizer 1 and 2, and I'll end with that, host.
All right, and I'll just say this, you guys, just stay with me because I'm going to continue talking about decolonization and what it means for us to bridge the gap and to create bridges from local, regional, national, international, that we can deal with this, because if we stay separate, they will eat us alive. And they're continuing to show us who they are and what they're going to do in the name of peace. All right, go ahead, Conscious. Go
Hey,
ahead,
I'm here.
Conscious.
I'm here. Mr. Cause, again, I was on your live last night. I came back because I saw you were here, and that's first and foremost. I appreciate what you're doing. Bridging the gap between the international community, and especially for the education that each and every one of these panelists are giving. So I came in to say that specifically. But I wanted to ask the gentleman from what's his name? PO Power Renovation. I'd like to know if he knows anything about the project Iran. And
Yeah,
that's
I do. I totally do.
but
I'm
but
gonna
but
do.
but and I will yield my time to the rest according to what the cause decides. But I would like to know specifically what he'd like to say about the project Iran, specifically with Lebanon, Syria, Iraq, and the Sinai Desert. And
Well,
I'm gonna land my plane there.
don't you see? Don't you see that?
Hold on, Power. So she wants you to answer, that question. Just let me once say, we got Humanity that just came up. Hang on, Humanity. I'm coming to you. And let's see who we got from Humanity. Okay, that's True Blue Fact. Okay, True Blue Fact is back. Go ahead, Power Nation, respond, and then we're gonna go to Humanity. And remember, Power Nation, 2 minutes, please.
Well, lady, when everybody's trying to unalive the Jews and sending 1,000 rockets a day, we have to defend ourselves. Don't you think so?
Do me a favor, just respond to a question
Okay.
versus creating an environment
Well,
where
I
there's going
know.
to be
I know. I'm
conflict back and
answering.
forth.
Well, let me tell you, lady. First of all, Israel, yeah, they're fighting all these countries because they all want to unalive us. And Iran, for so long, trying to demolish Israel off the planet. Okay? We have to protect ourselves. We have also human beings. They did October 7. We had peace 6 times. We called them. They never showed up. You know? And we're not going to let them throw 1,000 rockets a day and we're going to sit on our couch and watch a soccer game, you know? And we have an army. We had the H calls. They unalive so many people. Now we have a country and we have the right to defend ourselves. All the countries saying that. And we are going to do it, no matter what it takes. Iran.
Power renovation, we got you. You guys, have a right to defend yourself. We got you. At this point, I want to go to, let me put you on mute, Chef.
Sorry. Oh my God.
On mute, okay. Now we're going to go to humanity. Go ahead, humanity.
Hello, hi. I just wanted to say a few facts and then hopefully everyone will understand what I'm trying to say. We all know that when Israel was created, it was created by America to take over the Middle East, and there are spies on the Middle East. So the bigger plan was to take over. They had 75 years to fix it and make it peaceful, make it nice with Arabs, but they chose to colonize Arabs, to be apartheid, and to basically unalive every Arab they see, Christian, proper Jews. I'm not talking about the fake Jews that you see in Israel. Whoever is against Israel is unalived because they don't want them there. So no matter what we say, we need to look at the facts and history, which is in YouTube. And now we have the information under our fingerprints. We don't need Zionist propaganda anymore. Everyone is awake. Everyone knows why this war was started. As soon as the Epstein files came out, they created the war with Iran. They had a misunderstanding with Iran for years. So why now, when the Epstein files are out, they created this war?
Thank you. I just want to tell you guys, tap the screen. It doesn't cost you anything, right? The Daily Heart Meal is up there. Repost the live, share the live. You guys are bringing out some real good points. And, you guys are, definitely being able to speak to the issue at hand as we're talking about this world conflict. And the world conflict is caused due to colonization. And we need to really understand how to be effective with strategies focused on decolonization and looking at what venues are really available for us to network, that we can put our energy, effort, and interest into going against the colonizer, not, thinking we have to pick up arms and being intellectual and using the pen, showing how the pen is definitely mightier than the sword, and, making this something we do different. So let's open up the stage now and let
Can
you
I?
guys respond.
You just mentioned pen. I have a poem that I would like to dedicate to the people of Iran and Palestine.
You have a what?
Poem. I wrote a poem that I would like to say here, if you allow me.
Well, let me again, because we're only dealing with 2 minutes. I don't want to get in your artistry, and I have to shut you off in 2 minutes. Are you able to complete
Okay,
your?
I will try to make it as fast as I can. Yeah?
Okay, all right. Go ahead.
The fire that will not die. That's the name of it. Okay. They came not with honor, but greed in their hands, with briefcases heavy and hunger for lands. They shook hands with kings in the dead of the night and stripped Iran bare in the cold morning light. Beneath ancient deserts, the black rivers ran. Through pipelines they built through a stolen Iran. While mothers went hungry and children went bare, the looters grew fat on the wealth that was there. The Shah wore his crown like a borrowed disguise, a puppet who danced under colonized skies, while Isfahan wept and Shiraz. Can I hear like distortion here? Sorry, I can't. a puppet who danced under colonized skies while Isfahan wept and Shiraz held its breath, and Persia was traded for profit and death. They promised modernization and light, but darkness crept in through the cracks of the night. The wealth of a nation was carried away, while Iran proud people were forced to obey. Then came the day of the innocent ones, 170 daughters and sons, their laughter still echoing gentle and bright, 170 snuffed in one night. They carried no weapons, they carried no rage. They were followers of spring, barely written a page, their eyes full of future, their hearts full of song. They had done nothing right, they had done nothing wrong. Their names like a prayer on the lips of the free, their face like stars over the Caspian Sea. No missile, no sanction, no empire's decree can take what they were from our sacred memory. The sky over Tehran turned heavy with grief. No words from the powerful offered relief. But Iran held those names like a flame in the storm and swore that their memory would always stay warm. Then came the unjust and the uninvited war waged by the powerful hungry for more. America's shadow fell long on the sand, and Israel's missiles lit up Persian land. They came without warning, they came without right. They turned Persia morning to rubble and night. They thought that a nation could bow to their might. They forgot that the brave have been brave all along. They forgot that the people can die for their song. They brought They thought they could silence 1,000-year hymn. They thought they could make the bright future grow dim. But every bomb dropped on that dignified earth.
Okay. All right, Crypto. I think I tried to give you a little sound effect. Okay. We appreciate your artistry, right there. I mean that there is some talent, definitely there. We got Favorite that came, to the stage. Favorite, what you want to add to the conversation? Favorite going once, favorite going twice. All right, favorite is having some issue, with their mic, and we're gonna end up putting favorite down. Favorite, if you have to come back up, you can come back up. Okay. All right, so let's open the stage, back up at this point. Seem like everybody has had a chance to speak. Anyone that have not spoken, in a minute would like to add, rebuttal, or
Can I rebuttal?
sure, go ahead.
Okay, thank you. So I just wanted to respond to Power. He was stating that they're like the victims, and that these people are just throwing missiles at them and so on and so forth. But I just want everyone to know that these people, in 2014, Israel unalived 547 children in Gaza and over 2,000 civilians. And that was in 2014. And they have operations like mowing the lawn that they implement pretty regularly in the Gaza Strip. And no one is held accountable for that. So also, in addition to that, they're also occupying land in the West Bank. So you can't really be an occupier and a victim. You kind of have to choose a lane. Also, you're occupying not only West Bank, but you're occupying like land from 3 different countries, like Sheba Farms, and I think somewhere from Syria as well, if I'm not mistaken, a little patch of land. So you can't play victim and the colonizer. You got to pick a lane, bud.
I totally agree. I wanted to respond to that as well because when he said that, like, yeah, I mean, like, clearly you're not the victim. I mean, some of these things you not only are initiating but instigating. Like in the case with Iran, I think that you all have instigated that, which is why Benjamin Netanyahu has lobbying for that for the past 30 years for this attack on Iran. Like that rhetoric is nothing new. I don't know how old you is, sir, but none about that whole rhetoric is new. They've been saying that for years. They've been saying Iran was going to have whatever, and it's just not true. And so I think you guys are initiating and instigating the problems that you may have. So I agree with her. You can't be a victim if that's your position.
We're not playing victims. They're playing victims.
Oh, wait. Hold on. We got two more people that have, come to the stage. I got Khan, and then I have Khan, and then I have Israel Grace. Let me read this here real quick, Khan, and Israel Grace before you go, because I think some of you may have missed it, but it speaks to, what she said as far as, the occupation of land as we're like really trying to understand, this vernacular talking about, colonization or colonizer, decolonization, and coming to understand this world conflict we're dealing with today is really centered around, the fact of what the colonizers are doing. So here, this is colonization is the process where foreign powers invade, settle, and establish control over a territory and its indigenous population, often exploiting its resources, economy, and culture. Okay, it involves imposing the dominant powers' language, culture, and political systems, frequently through violence and displacement. So these are things that we see happening in real time, and it's like people are asking us not to acknowledge that one, we're experiencing these things and or we're seeing these things. Let's go, Con. What you want to add to the conversation?
You know what? I think everybody here has pretty much got it. I will be following you again, and I will share the live and encourage everybody else. I'd be happy to drop, just so the algorithm stays good with you guys. But I do want to say one last thing to the power. What's his name? Power. Hold on.
Power
Power
innovation.
renovation.
Power renovation.
Power renovation. I'm sorry, man. As much as like you sound like you should be grieved and everything, I don't feel sorry for you.
Don't feel sorry
Sorry,
for me. I don't feel
I
sorry for
don't.
them.
And I think that your people, especially you, whenever you're in lives like this where you're having the opportunity to educate yourself and you still don't see the error
Listen,
of what's going on,
I
I'm
know.
hang
I'm.
on, I'm about to go, and then you can say whatever you want to about me.
Hold,
But
hold on one
I
second. Hold
just
on one second, Conscious. Hold on one second, Conscious. Listen, Power Innovation. Yeah, do me that favor, man. Just stay on your mic. Show some restraint. Show some control. Okay. You will have an opportunity, to speak again. Like I'm for real serious about interrupting my guests when they're talking. Like when you were speaking, did nobody interrupt you, man? They didn't. So, show that respect. Go ahead, Conscious. Finish what you're saying.
thank you, sir. Yeah, but anyway, I want, as much as I love humans, I can't rightly understand other humans that don't give the same grace, if you will. And I don't think you're the victim. With the way of the world and with the internet and with everything that's at your fingertips or on your hand or at your, like, in front of you with a computer, the technology, and you still want to hold on to the fact that you're a victim. I think you really need to look at your worldview and look inside your heart, and then maybe like talk to yourself about that and go pray, because I'm praying for you too. And that's all I have to say.
Okay, thank you, Conscious. Have a good day. All right, Con, and then Israel Grace. Con going once, Con going twice. All right, Con, we're going to end up putting you back in the audience.
Hello.
There
Can
you
you hear
go.
me?
Okay,
Can you hear me?
I can hear you, Con. Go ahead.
Yeah. Thanks for having me. Yeah, just his name, power and whatever. Was it power and what?
Power renovation.
Power and renovation. That says it all. That says it all. Yeah, they were put there by the British. Yeah, it's all tactical. Greater Israel. They're going to get their greater Israel, but they will fall. They will fall. And when they fall, they're going to fall heavy. That's all I wanted to say. They're greedy people.
Okay. All right, Israel Grace, what you want to add to the conversation, Israel Grace?
Just
Thank
real
you for.
quick, thank you for having me up. Hello, everybody. Just real quick, everything is good. So we're going into Iran, and I just want to know how we're going to go about getting out of Iran. I mean, it's all fun and dandy to think that we could start something, but how you going to exit? I mean, what is the exit strategy for Netanyahu? Because obviously Donald Trump wants out right now. He's calling all kinds of ceasefires in 5 days, 48 hours, here, there, whatever, everywhere he is. But Netanyahu's obviously not on the same page. So there goes your little peaceful talks about being peaceful. I mean, how do you get out of this? That's all.
Well, if they want to do it, I mean, they should send the IDF. I mean, they should send Israeli troops and let them handle it. And, let the Persians do, what the Persians do. And, yeah. So thank you for your comments, Israel Grace and Khan. Guys, we got about 20 more minutes. We got about 20 more minutes. So I'm going to open up the floor. And if you guys wanted to have any other comments, any rebuttals, if you wanted to add something, to the conversation, at this time, we're going to kind of go popcorn style. All right. So who wants to speak that haven't spoke in a while?
I like to go again if you don't mind, host.
Go ahead, True Blue Fact.
Yeah, I think the summation of where we are has pretty much been addressed as to how we got here. But one of the key points that you keep mentioning that I hope you say you only have 20 minutes. I was hoping we had more time to talk about it. But how to get a colonizer to really change his ways and change his ideology. I mean, that's something we've been trying to do here in our country as a whole. And I think one way to get that done is we have to first tell the truth. We have to identify the truth of what we're dealing with. So if we're really looking to try to fix it or change directions, we're starting from, a place of fact, a place of truth. We can't keep characterizing things in a false narrative if we want to try to get it fixed. So if like in our country, and I'm going to land here, we know how we was founded and we know we had a constitution that did not represent all of its citizens. And we have tried to amend that constitution over time to try to close these gaps. Yes, there's been some struggle, and yes, we're still struggling and even some setbacks. But I think that's to your point, host. How can we close these gaps? And we have to start with the foundation of truth. And then I think we can move forward.
All right.
Thank you, sir.
You're welcome. I'm gonna go to Chef, and then I think Humanity wanted to speak, but I was gonna say this to what True Blue Fact was stating. I don't think a number of the people in America, I don't think they feel like there's a problem with the colonizer, colonization, or even that decolonization would be necessary. I mean, they feel like this is the best place ever. And, if you don't like it, hey, go someplace else, type of thing outside of truly understanding what happened and why we need to fix it. Okay. Um, Chef and Human, go ahead.
Yeah, I think you're absolutely right. And I mean, and as you can see, if you look at today's time, if people still have the mindset that they'll be willing to side with the colonizer, considering like all of the things that's out there to show you what has transpired throughout history all over the globe, and so to find people still, especially in America, to think that that's okay And to his question, he was like, "Well, what? How do we address the colonizer?" I think we should learn from Haiti. Haiti was Haiti. They tried to colonize Haiti, and it was the resistance. The resistance is what that pushback is why Haiti, ultimately became what it was. I think, not only do you need resistance, you got to have a plan as well. And then that way, that's how you do away with the colonizer. Because now, his ideology doesn't hold any truth because now, where do you go? I mean, like, obviously, you're going to prey on the weak. But I mean, when you actually think about how to address scenarios like this, look at what Iran is doing. Look at what even Ukraine is doing. When people are trying to impede on you, then the best thing that you can do is show resistance. And the more resistance that you show, I think that would make other people be less likely to try to invade you or attack you, if you will. And so I would argue that resistance and having a plan to back that up to govern yourself after you've gotten rid of the colonizer would be very much helpful. And I land there.
Okay. And to add something with respect to what you were saying, I'm going to point out classism and how for the majority of those that consider themselves American, because they now can make 100K, 200K, $1 million, even $1 billion, they feel like there's no problem. And that's why I brought up the axiom to live by out of Ecclesiastes 7:7, where it said, um, oppression should make a wise man mad, and a gift destroys the heart. The gift that have destroyed the heart is the fact that folks think money, is the answer to the oppression. And because some folks have it and some folks don't, they use that as leverage to try and convince folks that, like, hey, all you got to do is, if you get right and you do this, you can get some of this and life will be great. And that is a part of the illusion. Oppression is real, and it's considered to be a crime, and we need to stand on that from the standpoint of law, international law, and again, just realize it's an unalienable right for us to have self-determination, meaning we ain't got to ask nobody about it. It's unalienable for us to reclaim our autonomy. We just really need to, as you said, understand what the strategy is. We need to be able to have these conversations that's focused on who the colonizer is and methodically what decolonization, looks like. Go ahead, humanity. And then we're going to go to never forget or never trust. I apologize.
Well, I have been 3 years. I have been on this platform, and I've learned a lot about humanity and what you mentioned about class. Humans haven't evolved at all, especially Americans. I'm not trying to blame Americans only. Israel, Europeans, Arabs, Africans, we haven't evolved in any way. Kids are being killed for no reason. People are being starved. Unalive, sorry. People have been starving, and we're just watching from our screens. It's been 3 years of hell, watching Sudan, watching Congo, watching Palestine starve while the rich see it and they won't help. It had to take Iran to defend Palestine, and we just sat on our screens watching little kids starve to death. We watched Congo, little kids as young as 3 years old being slaved around and in control of France, and no one helped. Who are we just to sit behind screens and just be quiet? We need to do more. And now we have the Epstein files that are being covered by wars. The world is disgusting. I don't know how to move on from what I've seen. It's affecting my mental health. And I hope you folks, even this Israeli guy on the panel, he needs to open his mind and ask himself, does he want to die as an evil man? Does he want to support an evil regime? Open your eyes, open your mind, and think right. We are all humans. Thank you, sir, for having this lovely panel.
Okay, thank you, humanity. And she said, watching, watching, watching. People are watching. And again, that's the point. behind this discussion and a part of this panel is that we stop watching and we actually understand what it means to be involved. So I've taken upon, myself with a few constituents to champion, the point of pointing out the colonizer, colonization, decolonization, and creating venues where we can deal with this from the standpoint of globally, locally, regionally, nationally, and create those bridges. Because again, if we don't deal with it from that standpoint and support that, they're not going to support us, doing this. We have to understand how to support, the interest and or the agenda based on the expressed will, that we put together. They're not going to help us. So don't, look for it. But we should have enough sense, to understand how to navigate, within social media. And look, we're not doing anything illegal, guys. So it's okay. We know they're listening. We know they're watching. We know Judas is always in the midst. It's not going to change, right? But we can't not do nothing and do it and sit back. Oh, because they're listening, and oh, because they're watching, and oh no. A lot of people have become like really comfortable in their oppression, and they make excuses for why they will not, do anything, and then they use that fear to persuade others, to not do anything. But there are a number of us that we're centered on being functional. So I just want to align myself with people that see the need and, know that we have to come up with real strategy, and we have to look at what the call to action is and not be afraid to put it in action. And I'm not talking about dealing with munitions. I'm talking about real intellect. I'm talking about the power of the pen and being able, just like everything they do is on paper. Everything they do is filed. Everything they do is expressed in writing. We need to get in that venue so they can not say, oh, they want us to do this, because that's the perception based on the presumption. Acquiescence, like we're quiet, we're complaining, but there's nothing on paper. There's nothing to show solidarity across the board. So we just need to make it official, make it formal, that no one can say we find this to be legitimate, meaning proper, appropriate, and just. We want them to know that we don't agree. And the way we do that is find these points in solidarity that we can actually speak to it. Never trust. Go ahead.
I think is our problem is just we don't say no. We always say yes. We keep that people control us from long time. And when I see these two photos here, I'm gonna mention the first one, the Anglo-Saxon. Zionism was found by Anglo-Saxon. Anglo-Saxon, the takeover of America like 300 years ago, the unalive 20 million of Indians who was living there before. They just taken control and they bring us to America only for working for them. We are nothing to them until China's come. TikTok start showing us the facts, and I don't know. I just waiting for I see any move from African American or Latinos or anyone in America, because we can't stay like this. We keep them in a control. They controlling us, and I don't know, man. I'm feeling bad.
Well, never trust. You just said you're waiting to see. You just said you're waiting to see, and I just actually spent like 3 hours, expressing this is the activity upon which we're championing. So I don't know what else you're waiting.
I'm so happy for I see you talking about this. You're the
Information is
first one to
power.
start talking about this on TikTok.
Unity is power.
Never trust. I'm telling you, we're doing more than talking. We're actually working. And we're creating this environment to then collaborate with others that want to do the work. That's all. I can only have this conversation on this platform, and there's only so much we're going to do and or expose on this platform. But we're working, Never Trust, and we're looking to, as I said, bridge the gap with others that we can have these networks to deal with it internationally, locally, regionally, and nationally. So, and I said, there are those that are not going to want to have anything to do with it, and we're okay with that. I'm looking to align with others that understand this work needs to be done because sacrifice have to be made. They're not going to support it. They're not going to give us resources for it. So we have to collectively understand how to pool, what we need to make this happen. And their experts and their professionals aren't going to show us any love. All right, so I'll stop. Right there. Sound like somebody else was trying to communicate.
Is it possible that I can share something?
Sure, go ahead.
Um, so I just wanted to go back to the settlements in the West Bank. Just so everybody knows, the ICJ ruled on the occupation of the West Bank in July of 2024, and they ruled that the illegal settlers had a year to dismantle the settlements and to evacuate the West Bank. So to spit in international law's judgment, the Israeli Knesset passed a law internally to basically say "F you," and that Knesset law that was passed was to go on and expand the settlements in the West Bank, regardless of what the ICJ ruled. For some strange reason, these Israelis, they believe that they're above international law. They think they're better than other people, and they don't believe that they need to abide by any sort of law. Now, you see them talking about themselves as like Westerners, and it's not giving civil, so that's a major issue that I'm seeing here. The other thing that I wanted to state was that today the UN had a voting. Ghana spearheaded a resolution which it received 123 votes in favor of. The resolution was adopted, but I think it's important that we take note of the countries that voted against it, and that was Argentina, Israel, and the United States. The resolution was to declare the transatlantic Schmave trade, if you guys know what I'm saying, because I don't want to say the word, a grave crime against humanity. In the same breath, I also want to state that America and Israel also voted against food and water, the fundamental human rights. These colonial projects are still in place and functioning. They are actively working against us, alongside many other systems that oppress other people. And so until we take accountability, these people's pockets are going to get fatter. Meanwhile, we're over here trying to just make it, trying to put some food on the table. Y'all, we've got to turn to our communities and start to figure out a way to essentially starve out the system.
Yeah, that's how they want us. They want us broke.
Yeah, they're going to do what they
In the
need
rat
until
race.
we're done for.
Yeah, I agree with you, sis.
I want to make a point to what Lena was saying. It goes back to what I was saying. They have no respect for law. They have no respect for international law, and they act as if their policy now is the law. They act as if they are the law, and it doesn't apply to them, but it applies to everybody else. And I'm just trying to say, you all, we just cannot act like this stuff is not happening. And Lena is saying how we need to be in our communities. And what I'm saying, we need to bridge gaps beyond
Unity.
our communities and come to understand, how to make this network effective, that we can deal with them not only in our communities, but the strength will also be felt, in the international community as well, because without that, they're going to continue to function in the manner and or the way they do because we're separate and we have not understood what it means to be in solidarity. Right now, the one thing we have in common is the colonizer. That's the one thing that we all have this issue with. So we should be able to come together to understand what we have to do to deal with world conflict centered around decolonization. And with that being the title for this topic and looking at what time it is right now, I have 2 minutes before we go out. I'll give one person the
Can I
chance to speak for that 2 minutes.
can I
And
host? I want to piggyback if you don't mind.
okay, go ahead, True Blue. You got the last 2 minutes.
I want to say this to you, man, and I appreciate you very well for what you're doing. But I think when we think about, say, just for example, how we were as a people, and we used to talk about the field and the house, I think we don't realize what the field is today. See, the new field is field of study, and you can't say anything if you get outside of that realm of corporate behavior, because at that point, this so-called field that you think of giving you prosperity, they will certainly let you understand who really controls this thing. So the new field is not the one we used to be in the past. It's these fields of study that have given you this illusion that you have some type of control, because they've allowed you to have a little piece of the apple, but you don't have complete control of what happens to you as a person, as a nation, and as a country. And once we wake people up to that, host, I think we're going to start to bridge some of these gaps, because that's the new field. It's not the field we used to back in the day. It's fields of study now, and you can't say nothing. I don't care if you get to the NBA. They tell you to do what? Shut up and dribble. And I land there.
That part is very much true. So, True Blue, and for everyone else that was on the panel, I appreciate you all for, being my guest, during this event. And every Wednesday night at 9 o'clock Eastern Standard Time, I look to have these discussions. I do pop-ups also, as well, but this is a scheduled conversation. There's a link where you guys can go and watch this video, and you can see some of the other discussions that have been had, and the other discussions centered around decolonization, as well. So the link is in the bio. Make sure you go to that link. It's called website, but it'll take you to the YouTube channel. Subscribe to the YouTube channel. Watch some of the other discussions. Share these conversations, with your family and with your friends. I assure you, these conversations, are different, right? And we look to make it that way so that it's educational. And also, for a number of you, you're out there working, you can plug these conversations in and just let it go in the background while you're working, because each one is like between 2 and 3 hours. Very few are 4, right? But between 2 and 3 hours, these panel discussions are being held, and you're hearing from all types of people from all around the world. And in all honesty, this is where I am meeting certain talent, and we are able, to reconvene within other rooms and talk about really and truly what we can do, and having other discussions and moving this thing forward. That's all. That's the point within championing this decolonization, pointing out the colonizers, and pointing out what's happening and not trying to act like it isn't happening. Okay. Thank you all for coming in, to the live. Make sure you follow me, and, make sure you look for the next time we pop up and we have these discussions. Anytime we're having an event, you could sign up, register for it. It shouldn't cost you anything. And with that being said, we had a great night. I think all perspectives, were heard. There were some we don't really agree with, but it is what it is. And this is what we have to contend with. Okay. Colonizer 1, Colonizer 2, Batman and Robin, Uncle Sam, and what Israel is not real. Okay. Appreciate you all. Have a good night, good morning, good evening, wherever you are. Be safe.